malakas kahit anong lane we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts, winning any game para to sa PIN, yes. Di mo matitinag aming boses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera, HP racing made a setup. Kakatang buhat ni Hilda, full dome SS parang Laila.
Susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y
malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas, yeah. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 on my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, mala, crowd control. Pakita on the jab, east to the southeast. Taas ang matawa, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour.
susundan ko ang iyong bakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y
malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas, kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas, yeah. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas kahit anong malakas, Pilipinas, malakas face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas with the stars.
The 16th season of MPL Philippines is brought to you by the following sponsors. Infinix, the MPL official tournament phone. Infinite plays, infinite wins. Victories you can count on. Smart, the simply reliable telco partner of the MPL. BPI, the official bank partner of MPL Philippines. Mas epic na bukas, buksan sa BPI. Our partners in esports. Clear Men. Power up your tender-free scalp. Supercharge with Clear. And Knorr. Pang-marinade, panggisa at pampasarap, basta may Knorr liquid seasoning, kaya mong iluto yan. Don't miss any MPL action by following our official Facebook and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Follow MPLPH on TikTok for more content. Experience the lakas ng Pinas of MPLPH Season 16 action live at Green Sun Hotel. Grab your tickets now via the official MPLPH website. MPL Philippines is monitored and supervised by the Games and Amusement Board.
Pag nalulugi yung team, parang ako yung nag-up sa kanila para di sila ma-pressure, ganun.
Falcons, mamamatay pa Superman ko! Hindi! Sila ang makakakuha ng game number 1!
Kailangan namin mag-stick sa mga plano namin, sa mga strategy.
A big thanks para sa Smart Omega. They really put up a good fight.
I-execute namin lahat ng plano namin na wag kami mag-relay sa mga play nila. Yun, tsaka more improvements pa.
Expectation na manalo kami kasi para matuloy yung win streak and momentum ng team na madala sa second half ng season.
Siguro confident kami maglaro ngayon kasi nakahanap na namin yung mga kulang sa amin sa week 4. Mas maganda na yung mga ipapakita namin and palag-palag na kami.
Message ko sa APBR, lalo na kay Aqua, maghanda ka na dyan dahil alam mo na yung paparating sa'yo.
Handa sila kasi maghanda ako.
Ready na kami na makalaban sila.
Welcome to Week 4 here at MPL Philippines. This is your very own Odin.
And I'm Renmar Santa Cruz. We are at the edge of the halfway point of the season, and you can really feel the intensity buzzing around the community and even here at the MPL Arena.
At sa linggong ito nga, ay masasaksihan na natin ang mga huling laban bago tayo tumungo sa ikalawang round ng ating liga where the stakes will get even higher.
And you know what, Odin? Sigurado ako maraming sorpresa ang nag-aabang sa atin ngayon, like changes in the lineup, hello there, and maybe even changes in the draft picks later, who knows?
Kaya naman sa mga nanonood din sa kanilang mga tahanan, let us know your predictions for today. At hindi na natin papatagalin pa dahil gusto na natin makita ang mga bakbakan sa loob ng Land of Dawn with our casters.
Alright, you know what? It's game time! Sabay-sabay ulit natin tutunghayan ang Lakas ng Pinas!
Welcome back to MPL Philippines Season 16. We are currently here in Week 4, Day 1, and we'll be your casters. Suomi here with Athena and Wolf, heading to series which looks to be a Goliath versus David matchup.
So many history for this first match alone, and especially onto the reinvention of our players.
Yeah, I do like the fact that there was a little bit of a video that we were given before this match started, and it featured some of the raiders that we have loved.
Well, looking at the few raiders that we have left during this series, we'd have to see, of course, the equipment they're going to use, because they are equipped with all-day 120 FPS system. The next-gen Infinix GT30 Pro is the new official tournament phone, powering the next seasons of MPL Philippines.
And during this season, we are definitely expecting more for our players. As you mentioned, there are certain familiar faces we've seen for a pre-opening video, and as well as for the players itself that we'll be playing for today.
And surely, you could level up your game as well with Vibe by BPI. If you download and sign up for Vibe, you'll get 50 raffle entries. And obviously, if you get those, there are big prizes upcoming for those who install it.
And that is a lot, actually. And you could make your life easier by scanning the QR code right down below there. So you could go and access those Vibe app and download it right now.
And I believe that there are so many giveaways that Vibe by BPI is going to be having. And by the way, I've also tried Vibe by BPI itself, actually.
And actually,
super good.
Last month, there were a couple of winners. Not a couple. It was a lot of winners. 200 lucky winners receive 1,250 MLBB diamonds each. And this month, we've raised the amount for you to be potentially winning 50,000 diamonds.
Wow. So, yeah, just like what I did last month, I want you to try it out. Download and sign up for Vibe right now, because being an epic tomorrow with Vibe by BPI.
And we talked about David Goliath matchups here. We're looking at Aurora Gaming versus APBR in our first match of the day. And when we look at the Infinix standings, it's quite easy to say that this is going to be a tough matchup for APBR, considering that we do have a 7-seed APBR going up against currently the #1 seed Aurora Gaming, only dropping around 5 games and still winning most of their series that go all the way to 3 games.
That's a win streak currently, 4-match win streak for Aurora, topping off the charts. And comparing onto APBR, although they are not really onto the top 4 of our Infinix standing, but still, they managed to win their last match last week.
That's right. That's a very important win for the side of APBR for sure. But the numbers won't lie here. It's an 8-5 game win-loss team going up against a 5-8 win-loss team.
Yeah, and all of these numbers taken into account, these teams know how to play all down to the wire around 3 games. And for Aurora Gaming, I think the last few matches that they've had aren't really easy matches as well. They went up against TLPH, they went up against Aurora, they went up against ONIC Philippines, and now they're going to go up against their first quote-unquote easy matchup, supposedly against APBR, considering that this is one of the lower seeded teams right now, only second to Team Falcons PH, which is currently on 1 point, and our first their second matchup would be ONIC Philippines against Omega, in which case another David versus Goliath matchup with the third-seeded ONIC Philippines against a fifth-seeded Omega Esports.
But we do see some reunions, as we mentioned, for the first and even for the second matchup.
Yeah.
Ryota going up against his former organization before we hint on a different region. But talking about the first match, as you mentioned, familiar faces here on our league.
Woo! It's Demon Kite and Light going up against Aqua. This was the mid trio before.
Oh, yes.
Look at that. And now they're playing up against each other. And back in Season 9, they have played 46 matches together with a 67% win rate. This is actually their championship run.
Yeah.
And during MSC 2022, they have played 123 games.
Wow. And let's not forget, this was also the season that they won the MSC title.
That's also
and this is probably one of the best mid-trios of their era, in which case, right now, they are going to go up against each other with Aqua in AP Brand.
Glad that you mentioned that, because I really felt that this was a dynamic trio mid, because if you recall, they're called the Pandamentals, right? And they're going up, and the era back then was Pandamentals going up against the textbook TNC, which, you know, the strategies between two teams are very fundamental, but they're also based in that trio mid. And some games are won and lost because of the trio mid.
But actually, before they went on to their separate ways, Aurora was the last team that they ever faced as RSG way back MPL Season 14. So kind of ironic to put it that way.
Well, we talked about the Pandamentals. How about we hear from Panda himself?
Hey guys, 안녕하세요. It's been a long time. But today's a special day because 3 of my eldest sons are facing against each other today. And I'm really excited. So before the match starts, I just want to leave a quick message. To Demon Kite, do you still remember ba yung mga sleepless nights natin sa Wrecker's house? I gave you my iPad, tapos sobrang excited ka to share mga learnings mo sa akin. That day, na-realize ko na that player is going to be special. And look at you today. Kay Aqua, pinaka-consistent player ko tsaka pogi sa lahat. You always inspire others, and rain or shine, andun ka lagi, consistent, strong. And I really love you for that. Kay Light, what do I really need to say? You are my star. Just keep doing what you're doing because you always give your best. And with passion and with inspiration, just keep inspiring others because that's what you're best at do. And I just want to say na sobrang proud ako sa inyo lagi. Tapos, thankful din from the bottom of my heart for giving me your trust and also your love. You are my past glory, my current pride, and my future stars forever. Good luck sa mga journey nyo, and may the best and the most enjoying win today. Basta, walang regrets. I'll see you guys when I see you. Basta, good luck.
And Coach Panda, really bringing in the feels for that one. One of the legends in the coaching field here in MPL Philippines. Now taking a break, as far as I know, back in Korea. And obviously, skin glowing and everything. Might be a lot happier with a more relaxed life now.
More mature version, of course, as well as I'm glad I'm not as a player right now playing after that heartwarming video. I'm having a hard time to put my emotions at bay, but looking forward on how they will play out. Will they use that as an inspiration or even a motivation?
Well, for me, you know, that will be an inspiration. And honestly, like, these are the moments where you can say, this is why I love esports, dude. It's like, you see like how the story was written for this squad. Panda calling them his sons?
Eldest sons.
Eldest sons.
That means there are younger ones out there too.
So this is the reason why we are in esports. It's the reason why I chose Mobile Legends in the first place. The community, man.
Yeah, I love the community, and honestly, I love the gameplay as well coming in from Light. Our week 2 and 3, I think week 3 roamer of the week, and definitely a lot of great plays coming in from this man. And when we look at all the matches that they've played for the last 2 weeks of MPL Philippines, you would know why this player stands out the most. And right now, there are watch parties happening all around the country, and that is for both, actually all of the stuff right now for Aurora Gaming, all the way in Street Kohi in Maginhawa.
And even for AP Bren, right? You could also watch them because there's going to be the battle between Aurora and AP. Brent, if you're also a supporter for the Bees that is eyeing out to go for a David and Goliath store, as you mentioned, and for Aurora, I do like that they're pointing out that, come on, go, join us with a watch party.
Yeah. I do hope that the people from the watch party would feel the vibe, because I think that when you are here in the arena, it's like there's like two teams that you would want to support. But during their watch parties, I'm sure that they support only one team, their team. You know,
it's so fun to be in a community where you could just support one team and cheer together and even eat together. Surely there are a lot of good food there in the watch party, and that's not just for Aurora Gaming, but for a lot of our other watch parties as well for other teams. But for now, we do have a community poll. Who is your favorite coach from the Age of Dreamers? You have 4 choices out here. Letter A, it's Coach Panda. B, Coach Ducky. C, Coach Arcadia, now in MPL Malaysia. And Coach Dale as well. And letter D. And maybe they could also discuss other coaches that they remember in the comment section.
Coach Lark, for example.
Coach Lark as well. And maybe they could talk about that in our Facebook groups as well.
He was also included onto the Age of Dreamers era here for MPL. Coach Lark.
Coach Lark from ULVL Carlo Giron, the most beautiful coach in the world. Shoutouts.
Truly, that was a time to be a coach. And I think during the Age of Dreamers, we actually did see a lot of coaching developments. Not just player development, but development in the art of coaching itself.
Yeah, there were certain boundaries on whatever is the role, analyst or coach. There was a definite time onto how we would describe the difference between those two.
And, you know, the coach that made a lot of difference was definitely Coach Panda. I would say he's the pioneer of all the coaches here in the Philippines when it comes to Mobile Legends, because he is, I would say, the first coach that you can legitimately call a coach.
Oh, yes. I think a lot of earlier coaches in MLBB esports history, and this is not to offend anyone, usually take in the role of like a playing coach or maybe a coach / manager.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you said, when Coach Panda came in here in the Philippines and established himself in MLBB esports, we began to see people take the MLBB esports coaching in a more analytical approach.
And in other words, he made somewhat of a structure on what coaching really needs to be, aside from just guiding the players outside the game, but also focusing on the fundamentals during the game.
And especially when you look back at the Age of Dreamers, this is just right after them winning their Archangel run back in Season 3. He then became the head coach, or one of the coaches in charge of Cebol national team. And they also develop a system. Even when with scouting players, even with like discussing like what the actual lineup will be, Coach Panda was the pioneer for sure.
Well, the players are already getting ready. It's AP Brand versus Aurora Gaming. Players, let's get it on.
It's a Raiders reunion for the first match of the day. Here's the Hive, Lord JM, James Panks, Aqua, X Nova, and Shizo. It's AP Bren. And their opponents, #1 in the standings, it's Edward, Demon Kite, UL Light, and Domen Kite, Aurora! And to oversee and uphold the tournament's integrity, guiding us through this match, our marshals, Joshua, Chico, JJ, and Jeff. And our coaches. For AP Brand, it's Coach Jeff. For Aurora, Coach Master the Basics. The Hive and the Northern Lights, MPL Arena, Mag-ingay!
It's high time to start the battle between the Bees and the Northern Lights. Let's welcome the Hive with Lord JM, James Banks, Aqua, X Nova, and Shizu.
After last week's performance, we see the need to get Aqua yet again onto the main 5 lineup, and eventually getting the W for this last match. And also, it's an unspoken rule or unspoken attitude here for Aqua that he really needs to prove himself versus other teammates from RSG that he is now facing against Aurora.
And speaking of that former teammates, let's welcome Aurora Gaming. We have Edward, Demon Kite, Yue, Light, and Dominkite.
You know what's really surprising to me when looking at RORA is that every week there is a standout player. For example, week number 1, Doming and Edward. Week number 2, it's Edward as well as Light. And then now it's Light and Demon Kite. Everybody's just performing in RORA.
And looking at the team head-to-head, there's an obvious disparity between all of the stats that we could see here. Aurora Gaming definitely dominating the statistics that we see right now.
We know for sure that the reason why Aurora is dominating all of the stats that we're seeing is because of their early game. First blood obviously can only be achieved in the early game. And for Aurora, they are always winning when it comes to turtle control and the Lord control. So this kind of tells me that the real strength of Aurora is in the early game.
Oh yeah. And we did see that for a majority of the matches that we've seen so far from Aurora Gaming, especially with that win streak that you mentioned, Athena. All of the times that they had like around a 5,000, 8,000 gold lead, it's almost always guaranteed for them to win. But before we move deeper into this first match, let's go back in time and see how their ping test went about.
Hello, hello. Shoutout kay Aqua Boy. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Bigyan natin magandang laban ng mga fans. Gagalingan ko, Daddy. Para sa'yo, Daddy. Happy ako. Nasa MPL ka na ulit, Daddy. Sana manalo kayo sa mga games niya. Pero pag sa amin, siyempre, dapat wag. Ang message ko kay Boss D. Kay Boss Dylan. Good luck. Huwag mo ako bugbugin sa mid, ha. Kalmahan mo lang, Earth. Alam mo ang galaw ko, ha? Galit yagi yun, eh. Yari ako dyan. Kalmado lang, ha? Kalmahan nyo lang. Ano yan? Parang mandadurga na naman yung aura mo. Wala yan. Good luck, Dad. Ba't nandun yun? Ha?
Lipat ka muna doon.
Auraan din?
Kakampi ko naman dati yun eh.
Parang boss yun, ha? Pwede yun.
Pwede, lipat ka doon.
Nang-aura na naman kayo, eh. Sino nga bang mananalo? Okay ba ganito? Gantong forma? Hello, hello, hello. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Edward! Regalo ko sa'yo, Ward, oh. Eto. You and I! Tayong dalawa lang, Yue. Against all odds.
Well, that's our Smart 5G ping test, and we do actually have a ping test happening while they're singing and having fun, and that's all for tournament integrity. So surely these players are already ready to get it on for our first match.
And also, belated happy birthday, Edward.
Oh yes.
And also, we need to see a lot of those or more of those singing coming out from the players.
Well, before we move towards the players once again, let's move forward with the keys to victory. With, of course, the Howl with Wolf.
Welcome to The Howl. Ako nga pala si Wolf, bringing you the Infinix keys to victory. It's APBR going up against Aurora, at para sa APBR, ang unang-una nilang kailangan gawin ay i-deny ang lapu-lapu ni Edward. Via bayaban or pwede naman din nilang i-deny pick. Pero basta hindi pwede mahawakan yan ni Edward. And I think that deserves no explanation. Harit din naman ni Doming kailangan ding i-deny dito ng APBR. Etong dalawang heroes na to ang sobrang komportable, ang Aurora, and APBR needs to deny that. Next, they also have to survive the early game with trades or rotations. It's very noticeable na sa buong liga natin, despite the week 1 loss mula sa Aurora, ay sila yung pinakamagaling ang early game. In fact, kahit sa mga games na itinalo ng Aurora, ay early game panalo pa rin sila. So this is something na kailangan talagang i-survive ng APBR. Now, for Aurora, they have to watch out for APBR's pocket stats. At kapansin-pansin din ang APBR ay nagre-resolve doon. Even yung drafting nila sa week 1 ay nagbibigay sa atin ng konting flexibility with their jungler choices. Biglang nagiging jungler yung Reyes sila. And then they're also the team that is willing to pick up yung mga tipong Soyu or even the Lucas in the jungle. So they just have to watch out for that. And most importantly, kailangan nilang ipanalo yung mid lane matchup, lalong-lalo na dun sa scaling. At sakto, ang ating back-to-back or at least 2-time na mid laner of the week ay si Yue. Napakagandang stats mula kay Yue. In the late game, maaasahan talaga. And even in the early game rotations, napaka-importante sa mga turtle team fights for RORA. At alam naman natin, ang makakatapat ni Yue ngayon is Aqua, who is also very good at scaling heroes. And this is something na kailangan i-address din ng RORA. Although malakas din naman talaga si Yue, kailangan pa rin ay mas maganda yung hero niya over dito kay Aqua. That's what we can expect mula sa RORA versus APBR. So ayan, back to the casters.
Well, Wolf, you mentioned about the Lapu Lapu in the hands of Edward and the Harith in the hands of Doming.
That's right.
Both of which very powerful pickups in the meta right now. And honestly, the top 1 and 2 in terms of contested heroes overall in MPL Philippines Season 16.
And I know that it sounds like a cheat code when I'm asked about the keys to victory for anyone that's facing actually for Aurora to ban the Lapu Lapu by Edward. It's just that when you watch it, it's just so difficult to kind of play against it. Just ban it. Don't try to counter it. Because I've seen teams like pick up like Esmeralda against the Lapu Lapu off Edward. Does not work.
Yeah. Considering he's the most and Mr. Consistent here for Aurora, it really reflects onto his playstyle, and Lapu is a perfect fit for it. You have the sustain, you have the damage, plus the setup as well. Onto controlling the early, that which is for APBR needs to take control of according to our Infinix keys to victory. And for the Harith here for Domingkite, to be honest, I look back and he was actually winning, especially onto the early gold lane advantage.
Probably the best Harith player right now in Season 16. By the way, welcome to Match 1, Game 1 of their first Best of 3 series of Week 4, Day 1. Once again, it's APBR in the blue side, red side for Aurora Gaming. And looks like we are not seeing bans towards that Lapu Lapu or that Harith just yet. And for the red side of Aurora Gaming, they're taking out standard bans, taking away the Wanwan, the first pick, the Lancelot, and the Yi Sun Shen. Still very much open to take here for APBR.
For sure, when you open up the Lapu Lapu, you want to take it first. So a first pick Lapu Lapu is going to be advisable here for APBR. Just looking at some of their first pick heroes, they usually go for Arlet, for Lancelot, for Baxia, and the CC. In this case, it seems like they want to take the Baxia because we know that APBR likes to play a little bit of a flexible kind of pick for Mr. James Banks.
Yeah, it's all about the backup stress, as you mentioned, that could make or break their game. But to be honest, I would like to see them for once maximize the meta currently. So far with their Lucas pick from last week or their last matches ago, I do like to give James Banks a hero that he's most comfortable with, especially with assassin heroes currently in our meta.
And that is the Lapu Lapu band on the side of APBR, following the Infinix keys to victory. Wolf, taking out the Lapu Lapu, how does the draft look like right now?
Yeah, so again, this is win condition for APBR, so I'm happy that they did ban the Lapu Lapu. The next problem now that they have to solve is the Harith, but I believe that there are some solutions to that. The Lapu Lapu does not have any answer, and I'm sure that you know this, Womi. So how does the draft look like? I think the Baxia is the priority here for APBR because it's a flex pick. If that is banned out by RORA, the next hero is going to be Arlet.
Yeah, the Arlet, the Yi Sun Shin. In fact, the CC is also open to take. So many people to choose for APBR. The Zhu Shin is also available to take. One of the, actually the third best first pick option. Even the Kalea as well. We've seen a lot of Kalea blue side first picks from last week. Let's see if that's going to carry over now in APBR.
And actually, I'm looking forward if they're going to give it to Xnova, because basing on his performance, it's most compatible with him versus onto just sustainable heroes. With the Kalea, he has the option to go in or somehow relieve some of the pressure here onto the very flashy mid here for APBR.
So APBR also has the choice to pick up the Harith first, but there is a definite answer here for Aurora. So instead, it will be the Kalea, Yi Sun Shin, and CC are heroes that Aurora really likes playing first, especially when going up against the Kalea.
It's going to be very powerful considering that Coach Jeff has already taken away the Lapu Lapu and the Phobius as well. That CC or Arlot will be really good here in the XP lane, but for Aurora Gaming, they could deny one of those picks. The Yi Sun Shin is also available to take if they want to get that snowball heavy hero for Demon Kite, and we have seen a lot of YSS games for Demon Kite.
I do agree because they tend to let Yue be on the red 5 whenever under the red side, even though the Jushin is open. They could just let it go, get the Yusenshin. The direct answer here for Doming. Oh, Harit and Yusenshin, this looks so familiar. TNC Game 2.
Yes, it does look familiar. And RORA really likes the Yusenshin for sure. It's going to be the joy with... Wait. Is that a new skin?
No way.
No. Okay. An homage? Is this an homage?
Both at the same time?
At the same time?
I'm not even sure. Were they paid to do this? Actual question. Were they paid to actually lock in the Joy and the Beatrix at the same time? Well, jokes aside, obviously these are very beautiful skins. One of the best out there right now. These are, I think, not yet available in the shop, but obviously something that we could preview here in MPL.
Something's cooking. Although, just to highlight, Beatrix is actually one of the favorite hero for Shizu way back on MDL, and he actually won many games with a split push because of this hero.
And they will be locking in the Gatot Kacha. Now, jokes aside for AP Brand, they do secure the Joy and the Beatrix. That's already a lot of burst damage paired up with the Kalea. And to be honest, this is quite the early to mid-game lineup that AP Brand is cooking right now in the first phase.
And there's always that combo of the Kalea plus the Beatrix. With the Joy, you kind of put pressure on Harith, but usually Harith is picked up after the Joy is being picked up. But knowing that the Harith is very strong right now, RORA will get the priority. And even when we are looking at good skins here for AP Brand and the debut of this Beatrix and this Joy, I would say that the lineup of Aurora is already good up against AP Brand's lineup, even when it's just the first 3 picks. And for Aurora, they're going to be looking for another hero that will be some sort of a sandbag for their team. Maybe a Uranus for Edward, or even an Esmeralda.
Yep, and I think if you're AP Brand, you should be able to take away the CC as well by this point. A CC plus a Gatot Kacha is still going to be really bad if you want to have your front line to stay alive for at least for the first 2 seconds or so. So for Aurora Gaming, they do have a chance to just limit the mid laners here for AP Brand. They do have red 4 priority, and that's going to decide the next few bans for AP Brand.
And looking at that, I was actually going to say the Selena could be a perfect answer for Yue, because I saw their combos with Gatot Kacha and Selena. That's insta lockdown. But looking down onto the Harith statistics here for Domingkite, that is quite high for this season.
Yeah, this just shows that his early game on this Harith is just honestly insane compared to others. Looking at a 12-minute advantage of 1,600 gold means that he probably has around half an item ahead against gold laners. And trust me when I say this, half an item ahead in gold lane is truly felt in team fights.
That's right. Especially with how Aurora utilizes leads that they have, right? They're so strong with their early game that they're also very oppressive when they do get the lead. And when we are talking about the late game problems of Aurora, it only existed in week number 1, but weeks number 2 and 3, we saw that they definitely fixed that. They're much better in the late game right now, especially when they started with the lead. So they're going to be very scary as a team when they do get that early game lead. Now, AP Brand can look to ban the Valentina as well as the Kimi.
Yeah, I was actually looking forward for the Kimi if ever.
Yeah.
It won't be banned out here for AP Brand. It could be a nice pick here for Aurora, even though technically it's a double marksman. It's still Harry here on the gold lane. But looking back, Aurora actually is one of the teams most stable right now on their season. And if they want more stability, you could just go for the comfort picks, especially for Edward, sticking to the Esmeralda. And it's going to be a Valentina ban here for AP Brand.
Let's see what the Aurora will get for red 4. I think if they get a Kimi here, that's going to be a quote-unquote triple marksman lineup. They would need a really tanky hero on the side of Edward.
Yeah, I only think of two heroes here. It's either the Kimi or the Eve, so that you can have some supplement to this Gatot Kacha. But both of those heroes work. And we know that
there you go.
Kimi.
Okay.
And there's no way that you get a Lolita here if you're AP Brand. You already have the Kalea. And the box just banned out as well, so almost all of the counter picks against these heroes are naturally taken away.
You can go cheesy here if you're AP Brand. You can go for something like a Masha, or you can go standard using the glue so that you have some frontline for your team.
I agree.
Somebody that can play contact and sandbag so that the Kalea will have an opening. And when it comes to the mid lane choices, maybe Eve is left, maybe Kagura can be... Oh no, there's no Kagura.
It was respect banned here for Aqua. Or they could go for the Eve.
Eve CC.
Eve CC here
How about
for AP Brand.
Lunox for... They do pick up
Oh,
so the Lunox is good versus the Harry.
That's true, 100%. And the Ruby XP lane, we haven't seen this for the longest time. And if we look at Lord JM as an XP laner, if I'm being honest, he's one of the XP laners in our league right now willing to take off-meta heroes, such as like a Benedetta, or in this case, a Ruby.
Yeah.
And now if you're Aurora Gaming, you kind of don't want to take a glue here because the Ruby would just heal insane amounts every time you put that split on.
You need some Purify hero, maybe an Esmeralda.
Yep.
Arlott might work actually for Aurora, but they need some sort of front line that can be sustainable. Yeah, so Esmeralda or Arlott.
Yeah.
Whoa,
wait,
okay.
what?
Damn.
I could imagine Midnight's reaction with the Cerizla pick. Locking in here for Edward. But looking back, I do have a question. The last time that we've seen the Lunox was on the gold lane, right?
Yes.
So technically speaking, it's going to be the first time in a while it's going to be on the mid lane here for Aqua.
And that's going to be a big change considering that gold lane Lunoxes have more access to gold, in which case they could rush items like Sky Piercer and stuff. But for mid lane, how does the dynamic change here on a more team-wide line or team-wide macro lens here?
So it will be a lot slower for AP Brand. In the early game, they don't have as much strength, especially when it comes to team fighting, unless of course Xnova and Lord JM just pops off. Apart from that, it's going to be a very, very slow game for the side of AP Brand. If they do keep their farm, if they keep their turrets intact, maybe just trade when the Lord fights happen, maybe get some pickoffs, that could be a win for them.
Well, we're about to see what's going to happen in Game 1. Baby Brand versus Aurora Gaming. This is a best-of-3 series between the 7th seed AP Brand and the 1st seed Aurora. Another David versus Goliath matchup here. And this is the classic setup for our games so far. Just clear the mid lane and hopefully nobody gets poked out too heavily.
Yeah, and I was actually looking forward on our mid lane matchup, but before all that, expected for you Whiskini as well, but that continuous poke around here onto AP Brand.
Well, at least he has some sort of healing coming in from his first kill if you're the Lunox, but it's really hard to fight against Akimi, especially when that passive is up.
Okay, so I'm just looking at some of the skins actually. I'm paying attention because I believe that the Beatrix skin is not yet available.
Yeah.
And this is not the M6 skin, right? For the Joy.
Yeah,
so,
I think it was just a tease.
It was just a tease.
During the hero select. But this is really interesting. Dominkaidi 2v1 scenario. Shizo still has that flicker.
There's a chase down. It's going to be the arrow hitting. Shizu will still survive regen activated. But if Dom or Shizu actually survives the 2-minute and 16 mark, he's safe. That's the first turret takedown and passes for this season, right?
Yep. Unfortunately, the gold cannon was denied away from Shizu. So
that's true.
Ooh, that's a big problem for Shizu.
And I think James Max might be in trouble here. Light does have the revitalize, but Demon Kai!
Oh, that's going to be immobilized. First blood here for Demon Kai. Continuous damage here for Aurora, chasing down Nova. Demon Kai won an early double kill.
This is best case scenario for Aurora Gaming Wolf. 2 kills in the hands of a Yisun Shin.
Whew. And a disaster for AP Brand. When we said that the early game will be very slow for AP Brand, we meant that this will mean that they cannot team fight. And unfortunately, they forced the issue. They were the ones that tried to invade against RORA, and they paid the price.
Okay, that's a big vision coming here for Aurora. Jumping in with a penalty zone. Penalized here, it's going to be James Banks. The turtle is still alive. Lord Jim next Nova might go and try to lay things up, but for Aurora, might be a sure turtle here for Demon Kai.
Easy turtle here for Aurora Gaming. Not only do they secure the turtle, but they secure a kill as well in James Pax, severely damaging the early game of AP Bren here. Ooh. Wolf, you talked about AP Bren having a slow game. Are they having that right now? I feel like the pace is just out of hand.
Yeah. Whatever word there is to describe what is slower than slow, that is the word that we should use. And I don't know that word. Because for AP Brand, they were banking on the fact that James Pax can just go for invades or for some trades.
Now he can't.
Now he can't because he tried to contest twice.
Yeah.
It's RORA. And
Well,
he died twice.
At least he tried, and I think that was part of the win condition for AP Bren. But now that that's off the table, Shizo will be able to survive. Nice rotation coming in from X Nova. And it seems that Aurora Gaming, they're taking control of the early game, and the gold lane is no different. Level 4 for X Nova here, and they're going to go for another invade.
They have a different definition of slow here for AP Bren. Slow in terms of farming and slow in terms of rotation. And for Aurora, it's more the fast pace, and they're trying to accumulate as much as they can, especially onto trying to dwindle down what Shizu could offer for the early phases of her game.
Yeah, Shizo is definitely having a bad laning phase against this Harriet. I think early on he did win a couple of trades, but that early trade-off coming in from Demon Kite in the top lane just ruined the entire early game for Shizo here.
Imagine how easy was that for Aurora. Knowing that their matchup was Beatrix and Harith, they know that there is a little bit of a window for the Beatrix to own this Harith, but they completely deny that. And this just speaks to us how good of a Harith player Kite is and how good of a Harith team RORA is. They know the win conditions, they know the losing conditions, and they always adjust to that.
Yep, 10 seconds before the second turtle spawns. We do have a big item power spike here for the Beatrix, a Sea Halberd to limit the healing coming in from Aurora Gaming. And the question remains, will AP Bren actually try to contest this turtle fight?
But let's see. They just handed over Aurora one of their keys to victory, very specific onto Kite's Harriet, and now they're placing themselves here on the left bush mid. Aqua can do nothing but stare down.
Ouch.
An ulti might be forced out. Speaking of ulti, Lord JM trying to go for the I'm on the play, getting caught here on the Edward. For Light just sustaining all of the damages. AP Bren, a lot of resources has been wasted, and no turtle yet here for James Banks.
That's the second turtle going to the hands of Aurora, and it seems that they're not yet done. They still want a bit of plating here in the gold lane, and that's going to be a 2v2 up here top, and they're not going to continue with that fight. Still gets a couple more gold for Kite, a total win for Aurora Gaming.
And now they have inflated their lead to 3,000 gold.
So much. And we can see right now that even Shizu, with 3 members at bay, will they be able to catch Kite? But no is the answer. Demon Kite, on the other hand, helping out his Kite brother. Still not going for the run, but still, Aqua, that's the wrong move. That's a dead end. Demon Kite with a double kill as well.
And now you have a 4-0-1 Yisun Shin, 100% kill participation. This could not get any better for Aurora Gaming.
Fortunately for AP Bren, they do have some defense because of that wave clear coming out from the Beatrix, but that could easily be a third push from Aurora. And although they have taken down Kite, this is not really your only problem. Yisun Shin is already a problem. Getting
true.
4 and 0-1, you've mentioned this, Womi 5 kills where
within 6 minutes, by the way, that is insane.
Exactly.
Yep.
He is a part of, he is right now 1,000 gold or more than 1,000 gold above the Joy. And we know that the Yisun Shin, that snowball is a problem.
Okay, the Tsunami Slam cornering Edward, but on the other hand, that's going to be a cross-map turret play here for Kite.
Turret for life and an XP laner. I'd say Aurora still won that trade. That's map control that they established around the last turtle of the game as well. Now, the mid lane looks to be the next target here for Aurora Gaming, but the orange side of AP Bren is already opened up. Shizo has to push this one, but 3 people from Aurora Gaming already walking up top, and here comes the AOG.
Okay, hitting Shizu right on the head right now. There's going to be the follow-up damage. Barrage will not hit anyone here for Aurora. That's a huge miss here for AP Bren.
Now the turtle has spawned. Shizo, Kite, Lord JM will be seeing each other around that river area. Big rotation here coming in from Aurora Gaming. It seems that AP Bren doesn't have enough firepower to actually contest this final turtle.
There's really no way for AP Bren to contest. And it's not advisable as well. Just go for the trades. That's exactly what they're doing. Yue now has the Sky Piercer and will now forever be a problem for the side of AP Bren. Even their jungle is getting invaded right now.
I do feel like that AP Bren adjusted their playstyle. They're a little more aggressive, but I believe it's a minute or 2 minutes late because Aurora already got most of the objectives. Plus, even on the vantage point here in the map, they couldn't place themselves in the position where they could surprise members from Aurora.
Yeah, to be fair, they did try in the early game. Sadly, the micro mechanics coming in from Demon Kite just clocked in quite early as well. Did get that double kill that resulted into this very terrible snowball if you are AP Bren. But if you're Aurora Gaming, especially for those fans watching at the watch parties right now, they must be celebrating a stellar performance so far for Demon Kite on that Yi Sun Shin. Again, this could not get any better for a Yi Sun Shin player to have 90% of the kills in a 7-minute game.
That's the dream, to get the numbers, plus they're able to take down turret after turret before the 8-minute mark.
And this is already disastrous for the side of AP Bren. And then when you're looking at their late game win conditions, they do have the damage. They have the Joy, which does output so much damage. Beatrix in combination with the Kalia has always been one of the staple combos, and there's so many things that you can do with it. But the big problem is, apart from the items, apart from the gold lead, the presence of Purifies on the side of Aurora.
You're right.
You have that in Yue. You have that as well in Dom and Kite, the damage dealers from Aurora. That is gonna be another issue that they have to solve.
There's just so little margin of error for AP Bren here.
Yeah, and even if they manage to get the perfect target with what happened onto Dom and Kite, at what cost, right? There was just too much of a consequence. Even if they were able to target the Tsunami Slam right on the right target, picking off, shutting down Doming at that early, they just don't have the right answer yet for Demon Kite.
Yeah, they kind of have to wait for a perfect team fight, if I'm being honest, because I feel like the power spike for AP Bren has already passed through, Wolf. For AP Bren, they wanted to win the early to the mid game, and obviously the lineup for the side of Aurora Gaming was meant to shine by mid to late game. But sadly for AP Bren, because of a lot of mishaps down bottom lane that gave kills to Demon Kite, they've passed their power spike already, and they need to find a team fight that actually is, I would say, a miscalculated fight here for Aurora Gaming.
That could be
really hard to do.
Yep, you're right. It's like waiting for a very stable team to make an error or mistake. And knowing the personality for Aurora, they're trying to limit those things. And as much as possible here for AP Bren, they just need to hold on. But right now, Aurora is holding on to taking down objective. After objective, another takedown here on the turret of top lane.
We're just looking at the potential itemization here for AP Bren, because there are 2 magic damage dealers on the side of Aurora, and you only have to deal with this Yi Sun Shin when it comes to damage output. So maybe when it comes to itemization and just tanking through, maybe there is an option. And we also have to take note of Aqua. Maybe later on, this mid lane Lunox can pop off with the Flicker if he is able to secure kills with the Lunox Bomb / the Ruby DD play. Maybe that could be a potential play, because that doesn't, it does not care about your Purify. It's about your positioning.
Maybe.
That's true. And also, I think the ball is in the hands of Lord JM as well. Finding those targets. Yes, you do have like around 2 Purifies on the 2 targets that you want. But burning those Purifies is also one way to give Xnova the chance to actually pick off members coming in from Aurora Gaming, as Aurora starts this first Lord of the game. And it seems that AP Bren, they're going to try to take this away, but the Lord is immediately secured by Demon Kite.
And one way and another, Aurora still gets the upper hand. Demon Kite with an unstoppable kill. In an instant, Aqua is down. We were just talking about how he can utilize just to remove the bits of the Purify here for you and even Dominic Kite, but that didn't happen at all. And now Aurora eyes another turret onto the turret here onto the mid lane, and they're not stopping there as they move forward and maximize the wave here onto their minions.
AP Bren looking shell-shocked against the offense of Aurora Gaming. They have a Lord up top, and they've already gotten a tower plus a kill with that Lord, and they're still not stopping in the mid lane. Here comes the Bennett's Rage, and looks like they will be able to defend mid lane, but the Lord Siege is still ongoing for Aurora.
This is just Lord number 1, and the fact that they have defended their mid lane turret, it's already mini W here for AP Bren. They just have to keep their inner turrets intact or they're base turrets, I think they're called.
Yep.
They're tier 3s. They just have to keep those together.
Yep, huge gold lead here for Aurora Gaming, and it seems that they're setting up for a three-way push. Nice defense coming in from AP Brand down bottom lane. Mid lane goes Pop, and top lane, it seems like they're gonna go for Edward instead.
Okay, Xnova trying to start the fight, but it's going to be Aurora winning that one. Yue with the triple kill, making it a maniac. James Max is the only man left here. Will Yue get for the first savage? What a nice stun here for Aurora. Chasing him down, it's going to be a savage here for Yue as Aurora takes game number 1.
Mid laner of the week. Week 2 and week 3 back-to-back starts with a savage in week 4. Yue comes online by this mid-game victory.
And although the Lunox would have worked versus the tanky heroes on the side of Aurora versus the Harith maybe in the late game, in the early stages, it was clear that the mid lane duo or trio on the side of AP Brand, they're so weak and they're also making a lot of mistakes. Because of that, there was just no way for AP Brand to recover.
And that's just so hard if you're a Lunox that really wants to farm up in the early game or maybe even snowball to a certain degree. So we did see Yue also poking out the Lunox, especially early on. So this was in no way in the hands of AP Brand. The moment that they won or lost that first team fight, now we're moving towards a potential game number 2 where they have to hit that hard reset button. That was a really hard match for AP Brand. Before Aurora Gaming, our MVP of game number 1, it's going to be Yue playing that Kimmy that also scored a Savage. And correct me if I'm wrong, first Savage of Season 16.
That might, yeah, that is actually the first Savage. Starting with 91% kill participation. I wonder which kill was was he not part of. But obviously this is mainly because of the early game and the draft that we expected from the side of Aurora. We recommended the bans for AP Brand to be Valentina and the Kimi, but they did ban out the Valentina and they left off the Kimi. I thought that they had an answer, but they didn't have it, especially without that Kagura. And it was very clear from the start that AP Brand were fighting in terms that will always be favorable for Aurora. Like, I think this was the biggest mistake from AP Brand. They already lost the double buff on Jinx Packs because of that first death on Jinx Packs.
Yeah.
And they still tried to take that turtle. It was ill-advised, and it was really the biggest problem here for AP Brand.
I feel like for Aurora Gaming, they kept it simple too. They didn't go in for any fancy wombo combos. They went in for the Terizla that doesn't really require a lot of money to go online. Yes, the Terizla did suffer one death early on, but to be fair, the mere presence of the penalty zone just made sure that James Pax couldn't even enter the premises of early objective fights.
Yeah, and also to add up onto the draft, I know they have good intentions onto banning out the Valentina and letting go of the Kimi, but Lunox likes, to be honest, there are more unorthodox picks or pocket picks here for Aqua if ever, but the Lunox just ain't it, especially if you want to go for the snowball against a Kimi. That is really hard to do.
That's true. I mean, this Kimi already secured a Sky Piercer as well that helped him to get this Savage, and Yue definitely showing up ever since week 2. He has been playing in a very high level in this very quick game in this game 1 best of 3 series. An 11-minute game, AP Brand losing out in the early, and Aurora Gaming just making sure that their late game power spike comes in before the 12-minute mark.
And it's mainly because of how they rotated around the map, especially with that defense from Demon Kite. Demon Kite participated in 2 important fights before the turn. The first one, denying Shizu of that win versus Demon Kite by actually visiting top lane or the gold lane, and then eventually connecting with his teammates to complete that trio mid that eventually punished AP Brand's attempt for an invade. And then afterwards, they went for the turtle. James Pank slipped, made a mistake, and Demon Kite was there again to punish. Aurora are always good at identifying the proper places to be in, and you gotta have to credit Demon Kite with that as well. He just knew and downloaded AP Brand's movements, and he adjusted accordingly, punished AP Brand with it, and then won afterwards.
And looking at how the items progressed as well, it's quite interesting to see that they actually funneled in a lot of their items, or maybe even kills, towards that second item, Sky Piercer, on this Kimmy pickup. And usually we want to see teams feed the kills to either the jungler or the Harith here, but they did get the kills early on for Demon Knight and eventually transitioning to making this Kimmy into their primary carry by mid to late.
Because it's all about the continuous damage that Kimi can deliver. Expecting more that Aqua might find the way to stay in the lane if ever he goes front line onto Aurora. But that didn't happen at all, because the moment he shows his face, he was instantly taken down. Even before the first lower take here for Aurora, all of it made sense as well. And there's quite a respect here for me that they do need to acknowledge onto removing Harith also here for Dominkite.
Yep, and looking at our big four, our carry would be Yue playing that Kimmy. It's all going to be Aurora here with Sandbag and the Wingman as well going to light, but of course our BPI rich guy, Demon Kite on this Cheese and Shin.
Yeah, 950 GPM. You know what's interesting is that I have not seen anyone go north of 900. In fact, maybe the highest might have been 890 for the past few days that we've seen, or past few weeks. And this is mainly because of the kills and assists that Demon Kite was able to get in the early stages. I mean, being what, 100% kill participation in the first 5 minutes, or was it first 6 minutes?
First 7.
Oh my goodness! And with what, 6 kills already in 7 total for the team? Whew, that is a difficult scenario to be in if you're APBR.
Yep, and now they got to move on. They got to reset. They got to find a way to extend this series. And for the longest time, Aurora Gaming has been playing 3-game series. I think the last 3 series that they played all went down to the wire, and this might just be a thing for APBR as well. Maybe extend this to game number 3. But of course, if you are here around the Philippines, you would want to watch MPL Philippines live. Don't miss out on this early Christmas gift. Tickets are now at 189 pesos from September until September 19. Go to the MPL PH website and secure your tickets now. There are still tickets here, or maybe seats that are available for certain matches, but if I'm being honest, if you're a TLPH fan or Aurora fan, tickets are starting to be scarce.
Yeah, they booked their tickets early. There are well-prepared Auroras and Cavalry, and we could see them actually waving their flags behind us, and that's going to be somewhat of an experience if you buy your MPL tickets.
Well, apart from that, you could be featured as the next MPL PH Super Fan of the Month as well. All you have to do is join the MPL Philippines official group, engage with the community, and just keep those interactions positive.
And you could also share any MPL-related news and updates in the group for your chance to be named as the MPL Philippines Super Fan of the Month.
I can't believe we still have to put in a reminder to keep things positive. You know, a lot of our passionate individuals who discuss usually use very passionate words that we would like to tone it down for a bit, you know. But I love the passion. Honestly, if you look around the community, a lot of our members really love the game, not just the game, but the players that play it. And when we look at the players who are playing right now for Aurora Gaming versus APBR, we're looking at a good mix of next generation superstars and already built veterans.
And you're right. We're clearing out the road to eventually get to know the players more. Who's going to be on the next spotlight here for our MPL champs?
Well, we're gonna see our clear men. I think with a. Oh wow!
Okay.
I was so distracted with the with the Riz. He's our clear head super fan of the day, guys.
There you go.
Maybe another one. No? Oh, here we go. Bringing out the shampoo bottle as well. Congratulations to our clear head super fan of the day. Power up your dander-free scalp. Supercharge with Clear.
There you go.
This guy's built for commercials.
Watch out, everyone.
How can you become the clear head?
Super fan.
Hey man, I want my mullet to be featured.
There you go.
I'm gonna step out of this casting desk, go in the crowd.
Yes, sir.
Plus, I'm wearing clear colors. If you put a clear bottle right next to my suit, that's gonna be practically invisible, bro.
Yeah.
It's all about the blue, and I think the winning condition to be the clear super head fan of the day is how you flex your hair. Of course.
That's right. And you know who needs some clear heads right now?
AP Brand,
AP Brand
definitely.
for sure.
AP Brand,
They
bro.
just to clear that out. And I
Yes, sir.
personally believe that they have defeated themselves in the draft in a way that they put themselves in a situation that has only one win condition, which is get into that super duper late game, right? Especially with the Joyce was the Beatrix. And for them to be able to get good initiations, I think this high pick Beatrix might have been the problem for them. I would honestly understand why they picked up the Joy early. Maybe if they snatch the Kimi with the Joy or maybe snatch the Gadotkacha with the Joy, things could have been different. But the draft order here for APBR must be the first one for them. Must be the first problem for them to fix.
I think they overthought about the Harith pick coming in from Doming as well.
Agree.
And for a lot of gold laners out there, Beatrix is starting to be one of their quote-unquote counters against this Harith, considering that the Nibiru's DPS early on could actually fight against this Harith. And the sheer AoE of the Bennett's Rage and the Nibiru's Passion allows for the Zaman Force to be nullified, but we did not see that in Game 1 at all.
And definitely it was a bit too early. You're right about the draft rotation and the numbering here for AP Brand. But moving forward, I would love to see them on the red side if ever, just to get the first 2 picks. And I believe that if ever they get the chance, they could go and get more priority picks for their side.
Yeah. That might happen in third game because right now Aurora Gaming already selected red side. So, yep, onto the draft we go.
Right on cue.
So far for Aurora on the red side, they have indeed been winning. They have been winning a lot actually. So it's like one. Okay.
They won a lot, and they also 3 members out of 5 won Team of the Week, right?
That's right.
Starting off with their mid laner of the week.
Might just be even mid later of the week for week 4 if ever he gets another Savage. Or,
maybe.
What's their next match? Like, I'm actually going to go to the regular season tab right now, and their next match is going to be up against Smart Omega, which we will also see later on. That match will be happening in week 4, day number 2, which is tomorrow, our second match. But for Aurora Gaming, they're still up against AP Bren. If there's one underdog story that you want to look at right now, AP Bren, they are built around the veteran Aqua, a former MSC champion, a former MPL champion, and surrounded with, I would say, sophomore and rookie talents. James Max already on his 2nd season of MPL, Lord JM around on his 3rd season of MPL. Of course, a lot of seasons as well overseas. And for, I think, X-Nova, one of the budding roamers here in our system of players.
Yeah, I do like that you mentioned X-Nova, and I do hope that their connection with Aqua will be builded more, because I do feel like there's this kind of space or kind of a disconnection in terms of shot calling, especially earlier. I just don't feel the duo yet building here for Aqua and even X-Nova.
Oh, that's a hot take. Well, let's get in to match 1, game number 2. It's still going to be Aurora Gaming on the red side and AP Brand on the blue side, but this time around, Aurora did choose to stay on the red side. And looking at the bans, it practically is somewhat identical from game number 1.
Yeah. So this could mean that the Lapu-Lapu is the ban here for AP Bren. I personally believe that the Harith first pick must be a choice here for AP Bren, but that also leaves that gold lane option very much open. But from what I hear from the grapevine, especially from those who casted MDL, right? Shizu is actually a good Harith player.
Oh, not just good. I think
he's crazy with it.
He's crazy with it.
Exactly.
Harith specialist.
He's a Harith specialist. This guy's a Harith specialist.
That is why we were actually waiting for them to go for the first pick Harith also here for Shizu.
That's right.
Just so you could start off the game strong already here with the match up between him and Dom and Kite. Now, talking about Aurora, I do feel like they're just going to let go of the Kalea yet again. And AP Brand, I look at them as a team that kind of repeats their first lap if ever it went wrong for game 1. They just need to polish it up a bit and they want to prove something out of it.
Well, if it's going to be the Baksha ban here for the side of Aurora Gaming, Wolf, let's simulate things.
Yeah.
If they do get the Harith first pick, the Kalea and the Yisun Shin will be available to take. Isn't that kind of worse from what happened last game?
That is actually worse,
It
for
is.
sure. At the same time, I believe that Aurora might not pick the Kalea first. In fact, that scenario, they might just go for a last pick Franco or something like that. They might just go for a Okay, so that's the Kalea. So yeah, Yisun Shin Harith. Never mind.
Oh, this is what I was talking about, that AP Bren just sticks to the script at first.
Yeah.
Just try to make do of it. But against a team of Aurora,
Yeah.
I think they just need to change their narrative for the last 4 picks.
Yeah.
How do you change this up?
Stop using the Lunox.
Between the Joy as well as the Beatrix, I think they are only allowed to pick one, then get the Gatot Kacha.
Oh.
But that means that you already know that the Gatot Kacha will be XP lane, right? So that's a very tricky scenario that they put themselves in, especially because they banned both Phoveus as well as this Lapu-Lapu. My prescription is CC and Beatrix.
To stop the symptoms
I agree.
from appearing.
I agree. Save that jungle pick on the second picking phase. You know, this is an experimental
Or
pick
CC
in my
Hayabusa
head.
maybe?
Okay, you know what? The Hayabusa is a great answer against
Yep.
both the Yisun Shin and the Harith, but I was gonna present an idea, brother.
All right,
if
what's
the
up with it?
Hayabusa is banned out, or let's say you don't want the Hayabusa, I swear the Karina is a valid answer against the Yisun Shin and the Harith.
Yep.
Okay.
But Wolf,
Okay.
there's still the Beatrix.
Be
is early.
thankful that your analyst is not midnight, brother.
That's true. I'm gonna get roasted.
You're gonna get roasted. I'll accept it. All right.
+1 on that.
Thank you.
All right. Now the Gatot Kacha is another option here for Aurora. Another option is the Hylas as well that can be considered versus okay. They went in for Selena first. It was indeed banned out in the previous game. Anyways.
That was actually the third pick that I was actually looking forward here for Aurora, but interesting change of pace, and they still could get the Gatot Kacha later here for Aurora if ever AP Bren doesn't acknowledge and bans that out.
That's the Red 4 advantage into play. And with the Selena pickup, even if, let's say, the Yisun Shin doesn't get the amount of kills that he got in game number 1, the sheer amount of leashing the Selena gives to the Yisun Shin just speeds it up like by a mile or so.
And the added feature, apart from the leash and apart from the fact that Yue plays it so well, is the vision. And Kalea hates that because as the Kalea, you want to run around the map, get good initiations, not be detected by your opponents, and just provide a lot of initiation for your team. But the fact that they are going to be running up against the traps you saw from this Selena, that is another problem that they need to solve. So that's really what makes this Selena pick really good. If you're AP Bren, you ban Gatot Kacha, Badang, and Hylos, either the Triadels, they banned the Grok instead because RORA actually did pick up the Grok with the Selena before.
And honestly, if you get that Grok away and the Badang, there's really not much of a counter pick against the Kalea. Traditionally speaking, or historically speaking, the Grok and the Badang has always been the answer against this Kalea. And now I think for Aurora Gaming, they're looking to take away a lot of the mid lane options. And I wouldn't be surprised if they left the Farsa open, because Selena loves that Farsa matchup.
Oh, I hope that AP Bren took note of that TNC match that RORA played just recently, literally the last match of last week, because Aurora actually picked up the Badang and the Esmeralda in that scenario.
Yeah, and it's like looking at another mirror yet again here for Aurora, because things are going to get easier if you get to land those arrows early on. And you mentioned that the strength of Akale is literally be a spy and a traitor against Aurora, and that wouldn't be possible at all, especially if Aurora takes charge again onto the early phasing of the game. You would want a hero that could possibly more be agile in the map here for AP Bren.
Maybe a Ruby.
Not again.
Not
Please,
again.
no.
But yeah, AP Bren, I believe that they are required to ban Badang or Gatot Kacha here.
So they're going to go for the Rizzler. Okay, they take away the Rizzler.
Badang for Aurora.
And the worst part is you don't even know if it's Rome Badang or XP Lane Badang.
That's right.
Edward knows how to play that hero too.
And
Happy
Edward
birthday,
is
by the way.
smiling.
Yeah.
All right, let's wait. You know what? At this point, they could get the Gatot Gacha for still a flex pick.
Yeah, it's the same.
That's still a flex
Actually,
pick.
I treat Badang and Gatot almost the same. Okay.
It's the same picture, my dude. It's the same picture.
Yeah. For AP Bren, are they gonna be tempted to pick up the Esmeralda here?
What?
That actually could work.
Or maybe the Uranus.
What picture are they painting right now?
Or maybe even a Hilda. You know, stuff that could, people or heroes that could actually just catch the Abyssal Arrows.
Yeah.
What if? Just go straight up Arlot here for Lord J.
Straight up Arlot. That's also an option, you know?
What if, right?
Or maybe go full comfort. Lock in the Benedetta, boy.
Xavier for... Is this a Xavier?
Okay.
Oh, my
wait.
God, no.
All right.
Again.
I respect that, you know? At least they're running a Hayabusa this time around. No amount of crowd control could stop the Oogie Shadow kill anyway, so...
Yeah.
That's an answer.
Is it really the Hayabusa? The only hero that they needed to replace against the Joy here? I believe not really.
Not really, but maybe they planned something really with this. Maybe they know some weird rotation of we'll see later on. But Aurora now can easily answer this. Esmeralda is open. You also have that Arlot. You can even go just straight up Hylos against AP Bren. Although there is the threat of the Lunox, if you have help from your teammates, that could also work. And the CC, obviously.
Okay.
There's no answer to the CC.
This is annoying. It's annoying if you're AP Bren.
Oh my gosh.
The presence of vengeance on the hands of the CC, potentially even the Gatot Gacha, if he doesn't run the Revitalize, just makes sure that you can't go full Mad Lad Chaos Darkening mode if you're Aqua. So that's going to be a big problem. But overall, looking at the entire composition, let's focus on AP Bren for a bit. How do you think AP Bren could extend this to a potential Game 3?
Well, they have to get initiations in the mid game. They can they can force Purifies, they can force battle spells with maybe the Ruby, and then change it up with the Kalea, or vice versa, because they have two options when it comes to initiations. But the most important thing that they need to do to force Game 3 is to make sure that they don't lose in the early game.
Oh, yeah. Well,
trade if you can't contest, you know?
Hopefully we do see that. A better early game coming in from AP Bren as we head on to game number 2 of this best of 3 series. It's already Aurora Gaming taking the game 1 lead with a dominant victory. And now with a somewhat similar draft between both of these teams, we might see AP Bren make a miraculous comeback if they're able to fix their early game.
Yep, there is still hope if ever James Sangs is able to get the objectives for the second round. Compared to game number 1, where it was really monopolized here for Aurora, and they could also just make the place safer here for Shizu versus onto what happened for game number 1, literally changing the whole narrative for the early facing of our game.
I agree. You know, just make sure that your gold laner has a better laning phase against Dominkite, and okay. James Banks already moving around with that quad shadows, but Yue steals it away. Oh wait, he doesn't. That's good for AP Bren.
Great start here for AP Bren, different from game 1.
Why is Lord JM... Yeah, okay, finally he's level 2, but I wonder what happened if he got frozen or something. But yeah, there's some moves that AP Bren are doing up top wherein they are securing the XP grab, or trying to secure the XP grab by putting 2 heroes up there top, going up against Edward. Not sure if it will be as effective, but at least it's something.
Yep, at least they will be able to unleash the beast without the Lucas though here for AP Bren. And we could definitely see them fight for the first turtle if ever after this first round of minions.
Yeah, man, I think for AP Bren, they're already doing much better than what they did in game number 1. X-Nova playing it safe, just making sure that the gold laner and the mid laner are having fun in terms of their laning phases. But now with the first turtle about to spawn, Aurora Gaming already establishing a great position around this big objective. But it seems that they're going to go to other places while Demonkite starts it up.
Okay, X-Nova just soaked up most of the damage here for Aurora. But still, I believe this will be a hard-fought turtle if ever James Sangs goes in the move. But Lord James already in position. Demonkite backing up a little. James Sangs is too far away. He's going to be the first blood and the first turtle. And even so, they could follow up for a more Sustainable heroes here for Yue. Still doubles down, Aqua is down. Multiple hits here for AP Bren.
But was it worth it? X-Nova bites the dust with Abyssal Trap. And that's going to be a triple kill for Yue. Now on that snowball once again.
Oh, big oof coming out from AP Bren. They threw 3 bodies just to get the turtle. But 3 bodies dropped against the members of Aurora, particularly from Yue. Obviously, that last arrow was, it required a skill shot, but the first 2 kills from Aurora were just so good. They also defended Demon Kite, by the way.
That wasn't what I was expecting when I mentioned James Banks needs to contest and get first turtles, not at the cost of your teammates, right? And giving triple kill this early on to Yue just says a lot, and Selena needs those numbers in order to snowball this early. And now it looks like Aurora did it again against AP Bren, and another arrow hitting in X-Nova. The intel is just disrupted here for AP Bren.
Well, the moment that you get your first item in this Selena, especially with the amount of cooldown reduction he gets from the boots as well, means that the Abyssal Traps and arrows will be landing quite frequently. And even if you miss 100 of your shots, if you're able to land 100 shots to begin with, it's going to be a really tough battle here for AP Bren.
And Aurora are putting their pieces in the right positions, like this one.
Oh no, that's going to be an easy peasy pick off here for Edward.
Yeah.
Yep. And just like that, 4-0 already. Aurora Gaming ahead by 1,600 gold as this turtle spawns 20 seconds from now. Light in a prime position here. Potential 3v1 though.
Okay, it's going to be a sandwich. That's a double taunt here.
Whoa!
And that's going to be a secured kill here for Dominkite. What had happened there?
Wow, that was fancy footwork. Definitely coming up from Light. Apart from the fact that he's already positioned so well around that Crabbear's bush, he actually moved upwards and then dashed in to catch 2 of the important members of AP Bren. He did not mind the one in front. He actually went for the backlines.
And that's exactly what you want. But AP Bren going forward onto the front liner. Edward is down, but still a turtle here for Aurora, and not stopping there is going to be Dominkite accumulating that much of an energy shield plus a possible turret push as well.
Almost a kill as well. 240 gold from the platings alone, plus the turtle. Yes, Edward did fall down, but Aurora Gaming, they do find X-Nova.
Oh, there's a dance around. Even the Diamond Force activated. X-Nova already exhausted his ultimate. Might be a go here for Aurora as they circle around the map. Arrow will miss out, but there's going to be Light in again. Targeting Shizu. A double pick off here for Aurora.
Brother is clip farming on a Gatot Kacha pickup. That is insane. Light with back-to-back insane plays, and now Yue steals the spotlight, takes out James Banks. Aurora Gaming now ahead by 4,000.
Full-on massacre here for Aurora.
Unbelievable. It looks like he had like rapid boots there because of how fast he was moving, but he doesn't. Tough boots, not even the Wilderness Blessing. Light is actually styling on AP Bren right now. Good positioning and even better targeting. Almost lines up the members of AP Bren, connecting them like dots. And then allowing his teammates to just destroy AP Bren.
He also makes it look like it's easy to use a Gatot Kacha. But no, that is a very hard thing to do. Go for the double taunt here against AP Bren. The timing is really everything. A chef's kiss here for Light Gatot Kacha.
And to be fair, most of the work is done before the actual play. Positioning himself around at the right time, the right place. And here's something that you talked about early on, Wolf. X-Nova hates those Abyssal Traps. The conceal play was cancelled out immediately.
Okay, a lot is happening. And a lot of footwork, as you mentioned, makes it possible here for Aurora. Might be another big objective taken down here, but we feel AP Bren might contest still this one.
All right, AP Bren now setting up around the final turtle of the game, but Aurora Gaming is already around the corner, just in range for the Abyssal Traps and the arrows, and Light will be reclaiming that Pixel Brush for Aurora Gaming, and it seems that he's going to go for the taunt.
Okay, look, it's going to be Aurora being proactive into getting a pick off here onto AP Bren, and they can do nothing but stare back as the turtle will be rushed over here by Demon Kite.
And that's going to be 2 turtles out of 3 for Aurora Gaming as the gold lead spikes up to 6,000. Wolf, if you're AP Bren, how do you slow this game down?
Oh, you might want to bank on the wave clear that you have from the Beatrix. maybe get some catch, maybe get the Hayabusa and allow him to go for the split push plays. But there's just not much that they can do apart from that. It's impossible for them to contest this upcoming Lord unless RORA, you know, they mess up badly, but I doubt that will be the case.
That's a lot of maybe, but this is a mayday here for Edward. A very nice catch around. The Vitalist activated here for Light, able to take down a head-for-head. X-Nova for Edward. Is that the right call here for AP Brand? There's the conceal play. They could go for one more. US right on track. Another arrow hitting out to Aqua. But that was a very good pickoff here for both of them.
That was a great pickoff. I think X-Nova plus Lord JM burning the flickers, however, might have just been a bit too much here. Aurora still going to invade the purple side. Hits Dominkite, and here comes the Zaman Force.
Okay, whoops. Lord JM did a cute whoops here onto Demonkite. Even if I'm offended, don't warn Wolf King. Still, easy takedown here for Aurora.
And now moving towards the first Lord of the game, Wolf. You told us that AP Brand cannot afford to fight for this Lord. What do they do now?
They just split the map, just get some trades afterwards. Just don't die. Don't give away any more resources for Aurora. Don't just cut your losses. Because the thing is, they were able to get a kill onto Edward, but they had to spend 2 flickers, 2 ultimates just for that one. In fact, even more ultimates actually. Especially coming out from Shizu. And right now, those flickers from both X-Nova as well as Lord JM, they're not available. So there's just really no way for them to engage.
Okay, if you can't afford it yet, just don't spend too much time on it. Meanwhile, for Aurora, they could definitely spend their time here. A very good layer for Edward with a double kill. Light has been taken out, but that is 2 frontliners here from AP Brand eliminated, and they're not stopping there. As well. Going on the end of Shizu Aqua as well is a very tight spot. James Stacks activating the Oogie Shadow kill, but it's going to be a close fight here. And that's going to be a very destroyful clash for Aurora.
And all of that happening while the Lord was taking its nice time with Demonkite here. An 8K gold lead already for Aurora Gaming. And AP Bren looking to defend against the first Lord push.
Oh my goodness. When we said that AP Bren should not fight, they still kept on fighting. They still kept on poking. All they needed to do was to defend, but they still fought afterwards. But what a nice layering of spells, by the way, coming out from RORA. They did take out Light after this, but they should have backed out, especially after the stun onto Aqua. And then James Max did not have the Shadow kill prepped, because usually when you pop the ultimate, you go to another Shadow. But instead, he had to cast the Shadow. And during his dash animation, Dominkite already interpolated where he will appear and pop the Synchro Vision in that specific place.
Well, to be fair, I think he didn't really have a choice here for James Banks. If the Quad Shadow was on cooldown, his only defensive option was to go for the Oogie Shadow kill. The Lord does melt in the top lane, and the shields are still online for AP Brand, but here comes another arrow!
Okay, Aurora is still all over the place, just trying to limit what AP Brand can do, but Tsunami Slam onto Light, Revitalize activated. It's going to be a nice pull here for X-Nova and even Lord JM, but still that's going to be an unstoppable kill. There's going to be the Wookiee Shadow kill for James Bass, shutting down Dominkite.
Massive kill here for AP Bren, and the best part, if you're part of the Hive, none of your inhibitor turrets went down.
Yeah, very important pickoff coming out from AP Bren. James Pax just in the right moment, and this time he is prepped up. He has 3 items with him as well. And for the Heptaseek's Hunter Strike as well as this Malefic Roar. And when it comes to Aqua, he already has the Divine Glaive to go with the Glowing Wand as well. So there is some damage that will come out of Aqua, especially when he nails the Lunox Bomb. In fact, they want to take advantage of this.
Okay, AP Brand looking a little bit shady.
Edward spotted them.
He knows. We do that too, you know.
Not only did he hear it from a mile away, he's also still running that Vengeance. So was on cooldown during that time. Next, Nova takes another Abyssal Arrow to the face. And it seems that Aurora Gaming is just stealing away all the jungle creeps that AP Bren has before they prep for the Lord.
Still constricting here if you're AP Bren. Even if you get a perfect target, as you mentioned, but the problem still relies heavily onto who they might have to go through before targeting Dominkite and even you.
It's just so difficult for the members of AP Brent to find those kills. They have to commit a lot, but eventually at the 15-minute mark maybe, they will have enough tools to deal with the members of RORA when it comes to damage output. Because that will mean like 4 items for James Max as well as Shizo and 3 items for Aqua. But the problem is, can they get to 15 minutes?
Well, to be fair, I think James Max already is rocking that Malefic Roar, which means he does deal a bit of damage, but still looking towards that potential BOD.
Okay.
X-Nova doesn't really go in with a concealed play, and now AP Bren, I think the call here is to just defend the waves, give away the Lord, finally taking the safe route for a change of pace.
And maybe just extend the round. As Wolf had mentioned, the 15-minute mark might be the start here for AP Bren, although it's a late start. But also the BOD has been built up here for Shizu, so one more and they could go for a hit here for Aurora.
To be fair with AP Bren, identifying that that was their only window, tried to go for the conceal play. That was actually commendable from AP Bren. However, RORA are way too experienced and they know that the only option there for them to lose the Lord was from a conceal play. And it did not happen. RORA now has 10,000 gold to smash against AP Bren's base.
Yeah, Aurora is reading them like an open book. Just going for the climax here. That's going to be the jump here for X-Nova. Too much damage to handle. Backing away slowly, able to defend, but not the bottom lane turret here for AP Bren.
And that is a huge inhibitor turret take for Aurora Gaming, considering that the next Lord will be spawning near the top lane, which means that AP Bren needs to send out at least one member to clear this out quickly. And if I'm being honest, the only options that you have to send in the bottom lane would be James Max and Shizo.
They are.
That will be a push. Okay.
But gladly, they will take that bait. Dominkite able to back away. But the Ogi Shadow will be able to take him down. It's war on 4 here for AP Bren. X-Nova will survive. Members of Aurora was a bit of a second too late here.
Yeah, James Banks securing another crucial pickoff against Dominkite here. 2 of Dominkite's stats are all from the Oogie Shadow kills that James Banks have been throwing around. And looking at the items for James Banks, he is 500, 600 gold away from securing that Blade of Despair.
That's right. And that's a very important pickoff coming out from James Banks. Most importantly, the jump coming out from X-Nova. So instead of layering their stunts between X-Nova as well as Lord JM, this is the fact that X-Nova didn't have the flicker. During that moment, AP Bren have decided that they can go together. And that actually prompted a misplay coming out from Light, going in for the Gatatkacha ultimate without catching anyone, and not even able to help his Harith in that scenario. So that is actually such a big play coming up from AP Bren, forcing some errors inside of RORA.
And right on cue, we're already on our 15-minute mark of our game, and we're finally seeing some hope with what AP Bren is doing. And I do like that they could just juggle around here for Aurora, go for the bait jumps here for X-Nova, as Wolf have mentioned. Plus, I do like that Shizu, with his position, is not anywhere near assassins here for Aurora.
And despite the 0.5 KDA coming in from X-Nova, he's starting to be tanky enough for AP Bren to buy a bit of time here for both Shizo and Aqua to actually deal damage, especially by picking up that Dreadnought armor and I think a Silence Robe as well. And this is the cost-effective way of just making sure that you're able to tank the damage for your team, but this will be the second Lord of the game, in which case Aurora Gaming will be taken for free. Here comes the Mountain Shocker. They know that this is going to come in without any hesitation coming in from AP Bren, and that's going to be Aurora Gaming taking that second Lord.
This is the third Lord.
Third? Oh yeah, you're right. That is the third Lord.
Yeah, it looked very fast. Right? You almost forget the first Lord because, with all due fairness for AP Bren, they have actually defended well. It's the time where they were able to pick up Dominkite. So I think it's clear now for Aurora. If Dominkite does not die in this Lord push again, they might just end the game.
So
for AP Bren, what they need to do is to fight under their turrets. In fact, I would say the idea here for AP Bren is that they know that they cannot fight outside of their base, and they know that they have a big disadvantage if they do get out of their base and fight against Aurora. So they just decided, let's just give the Lord.
Ooh.
Shizu, you can't afford that.
But still, they have to watch out for this big arrows here from Yue as they defend the Lord, the third Lord for this round. But as they defend and melt down this Lord, their turret onto the top lane has has been annihilated here for Aurora. And Edward just waiting for the right moment to pounce on.
Okay.
And it's Nova from the front. Going for the tsunamis na mount the line. AOG has been activated. He survived long enough for them to take down AP Bren. It's going to be GG push here as Aurora sweeps AP Bren.
A dominant win for Aurora Gaming, securing yet another dub, securing their top seed once again at the start of Week 4.
That's 5-match win streak, including this one. And things are just getting hotter here for Aurora Gaming.
What a godly ultimate there coming out from the Yi Shin. I think that maybe the Demon Kind was able to read what James Max was trying to do and actually caught that Hayabusa together with Shizu. My goodness, what a player.
Well, a lot of learning experiences here for the sophomores and veterans of AP Bren as they bow down for now in the regular season Week 4. They actually still have a game here.
That's right.
By Week 4 that will happen in Day 3 against Team Liquid Philippines. You know what? This is a hard week for AP Bren. Not only you're up against Aurora Gaming in Day 1, you will be facing TLPH in Day number 3. But for now, we will be talking to the victors of match number 1. That's Aurora Gaming as we head to the main stage.
The lights are definitely brighter today with the sweep. Your winners, Aurora
Gaming!
Congratulations, boys! Welcome to Week 4. Napakaganda ng inyong simula ngayong week na to. Demon Kite, gusto ko munang ikaw ang makausap. Because before we started the match, narinig nyo naman ang message ni Coach Panda para sa inyo ni Light together with Aqua. Ano yung naramdaman mo and what do you want to say to your former coach?
Masaya po kasi matagal ko na siyang di nakita. Tsaka sobrang na-appreciate ko yung message niya kasi siya naman po yung kasama namin nung nag-start. Yung nag-start palang career namin. And sobrang thankful talaga kasi dami niyang naitulong sa amin.
And like you've mentioned, si Coach Panda rin yung kasama nyo nung nag-peak talaga yung career nyo with RSG. Speaking of, ano naman ang mensahe mo sa dati mong kasama na si Aqua na nakatapat nyo kanina lang?
Ang message ko kay Aqua, stay strong lang, tsaka lagi lang bawi every game. Tapos marami pa talaga silang ilalakas yung team nila.
Yeah, it's great to hear from Coach Panda. Of course, nandito rin naman si Light, one of the former players of Coach. Light, ano reaction mo sa skincare ni Coach Panda? Parang glowing ngayon, no?
Oo nga, naka-Korean Prada ka ata eh.
Yeah, he does look glowing. So, ikaw naman, ano yung naging reaction mo nung nakita mo yung mensahe ni Coach? Medyo na teary-eyed ka ba? Ang sweet yung message ni Coach eh.
Sakto na, lagi niya naman sa akin sinasabi na you are my star, gano'n, you are my pride, gano'n. Kaya ano ako, and then, parang tatay ko na rin kasi si Coach Panda na ano.
So for you talaga, father figure na talaga si Coach Panda.
Oo.
Okay, so look at the camera. Ano ang mensahe mo ngayon kay Coach Panda?
Take care always and I hope mag-meet ulit yung pat natin, gano'n.
At dahil nga, ikaw ay isang star ni Coach Panda, you were named the Roamer of the Week sa Week 3. Ano naman ang naramdaman mo nung ikaw yung na-feature natin na player for last week?
Siyempre, masaya. Parang yung hard work as a team nagbubunga, gano'n. Tapos, iniisip ko na lang maging consistent and ayun, hanggang dulo. Hopefully, makapag-champion.
We're looking forward to that. At ano pa kayo mga heroes? Inaabangan natin yan lagi from Light. And meron pa tayo na Player of the Week din last week.
Well, actually, speaking of consistent, Odin, parang personally, there's someone here in Aurora that I see as one of the most underrated and consistent players of the league. He's a man who got the first Savage of the season so far. Yue on that Kimi. So, actually, Yue, gusto namin malaman, ano yung naging comms nyo sa panahon na yun? Yung nakuha mo na yung Savage, sinasabihan ka ba na, uy, Yue, kunin mo na yun? Or ikaw ba yung nagsabi, hindi, tabi na kayo, ako na to. Ano nangyari?
Naalala ko lang, Uwe, Savage, yun lang. Alam mo yun lang, hindi ko naman maalala iba eh.
So parang adrenaline rush na lang?
Parang yung comms lang kasi namin nun, hindi siya magulo.
Alright.
Kasi dami nagsabi nun.
So ano sabi niya? Akin. Okay.
So yun na daw eh. Hiningi mo pala yung Savage.
Hindi na maalala. Alright, real quick actually, Coach MTB, I need your help with something. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I want you to look at Yue right now. Tell us and the world your favorite things about Yue. As a player, in-game, outside of the game, what do you love about Yue?
Siguro para sa akin, siya lang yung favorite mid laner ko.
Oy.
Sa lahat. Kasi underrated kasi si Yue. So, pero ako kasi nakita ko talaga siya since bago pa siya mapunta sa amin or bago ko pa siya i-coach, malaki talaga yung potential ni Yue. And ngayon, mas lalo niyang napapakita kung ano talaga yung kaya niyang gawin.
Ang sweet ng mga coaches natin ngayon.
At speaking of consistency, hindi lang si Yue ang consistent sa ating team, but our birthday boy nung nakaraang araw, Edward!
Thank you guys sa mga
Isang
bumate.
happy birthday, Edward naman dyan. In 3, 2, 1! Ay, kumanta sila. Okay, thank you so much, Aurora. Happy birthday to you, Edward. Ano nararamdaman mo na nanalo kayo ngayon and tomorrow meron pa kayong match? Meron ka bang wish bilang birthday boy?
Ayun, sana mag-champion kami this season and maka-claim kami ng Emerald title.
Alright.
Excited kami para makita yan. Once again, let's give it up for your winners, Aurora Gaming. You may now take your bow. And just like that, Aurora started the week with a sweep.
Oh, not only just a sweep, but a savage as well. Sigurado ako na masaya si Edward na nakakuha siya ng magandang birthday gift para sa birthday week niya.
At ano naman kaya masasabi ng ating mga casters with that match? Ibalik na muna natin sa ating desk.
Thank you so much to our host. We're back here in the casting deck. Still Uomi here with Athena and Wolf. And after that match victory coming in from Aurora Gaming, they still secure the top seed of MPL Season 16. And things are looking great individually as well for the players of Aurora.
And that's the way to start the day and the week here for Aurora, as well as being consistent all throughout the round.
I wonder who will be the MVP right now, especially after Yue just played so well. Of course, Light. I think out of all of the initiations coming out from Light, the only one that's really forgettable is that mistake in the mid lane. But apart from that, all the other initiations were stellar. This is how you play the Gatot-Kacha as a catch hero. Because sometimes the Gatot-Kacha is being played as a peel hero. It's more like the defensive manner. But you can see through the highlights that he played it like a true initiator for the team.
And I think to be very precise here for Light as well, in the history of MLBB esports, where Light is actually one of the top roamers of our league, I still recall a lot of plays coming in from his Lolita with off angles or angles that you wouldn't really expect him from. And this is something that Light has been doing for majority of his career as a roamer.
And this is why I love about Light that I mentioned. He makes it look easy, but it isn't, right? And I do like for Aurora that after the high loss, they also have a masterpiece here for the Gatot-Kacha that we were kind of expecting to be banned out, but for APBR, they just didn't respect the Gatot-Kacha onto the hands of Light.
And I think the CC as well, the last pick CC coming in from Aurora Gaming. Wolf, that was an unexpected sudden combo coming in from Aurora Gaming. The Gatot-Kacha CC plagued the MSC 2025.
That's right.
And now in MPL Philippines Season 16, it's quite a big surprise that this went all the way down to the final pick before it was even showed up.
And you know, there's so many questions that I have with APBR, especially with the last two picks that they've had. I firmly believe that their first three picks in this particular game were good. Like, you also already have good security when it comes to your damage output. You have some sort of counters against this Harith in form of the Beatrix as well as the Hayabusa, which was a traditional counter. But this Lunox and this Ruby that they played twice just makes no sense to me, you know? Although, technically speaking, you have your initiations, but this is still Lunox that is already now being picked in the mid lane and already is a big liability when it comes to like farming because you need another core.
You're right. And actually, they could have just stopped onto the third blue pick. and then pick up a hero that is more comfortable for Lord J. I mean, we even suggested just throw our lot out here for AP Bren just so we could feel him playing to fitting to his playstyle instead of them just being defensive at all times here for game number 2.
Well, a lot of unorthodox picks here for Lord JM. I think the only XP laner so far that plays that Benedetta, and look at that. Such a nice ultimate coming in from Demon Kite to end that team fight as well. Plus the Abyssal Arrow landing coming in from the Yue. This was I would say, compared to game number 1, more of a game where AP Bren did have a chance to secure this win by mid to late game. There were a couple of times that the Oogie Shadow kill coming in from James Panks secured crucial kills against Dominkai.
Yeah, especially because of I guess the mastery of James Panks with this hero. It's just that this hero is not as strong in the meta game. And imagine being RORA in this scenario, getting your first three picks as the strongest heroes in the meta game. Harith is arguably the best gold laner. Yi Sun-shin is toe-to-toe with Lancelot, but every time that the Lancelot is banned and the Yi Sun-shin is open, the stock for the Yi Sun-shin just rises up so much, and it becomes essentially the strongest jungler. You have the strongest gold laner and the strongest jungler with maybe the second best mid laner in front of the Selena. It is a tie between Selena and the Pharsa. So,
with
Rora's
Kagura
draft
being
is just
number 1.
Well, maybe.
Who would have thought we're in this meta? The Kagura was almost insta-banned here. And the Pharsa as well. I feel like Aqua was really forced into a corner here, playing the Lunox back-to-back, and both of which not really showing up for AP Bren.
Yeah, kind of ironic that the last match that for Aqua played for RSG was against Aurora and he lost, and then for his first match against them yet again after a long time, he still lost for this round.
Well, now we're looking at the big 4 of this game number 2. This time it's going to be X-Nova taking the sandbag, tanking a lot of damage here in game number 2, but the wingman and the carry will go to the Doming Light tandem, with Light being the MVP as well here in game number 2. But of course, our BPI Rich guy back-to-back Yi Sun-shin games for my boy Demon Kite here, and he will be able to get both of which for game 1 and 2.
They have thrown other members of AP Bren under the ship, not under the bus here. And so far, he was unstoppable from mid and even at the end of our game.
Demon Kite, the BPI Rich guy, back-to-back, I believe. It's going to be now at 843 GPM. 1,300 for kills and assists, and most importantly, jungle creeps that he was able to just freely roam around the map in the early stages of the game, untouched in 2 games.
Majority of his time was on that 207 KDA. He was just speed farming or just making sure that he gets all of those camps all around the map, and that was truly a Yi Sun-shin game. Most of the Yi Sun-shin games that we'd see run like that here for game number 2. Game 1 was an anomaly. That was a 4-0-1 Yi Sun-shin game. It was insane, but now with this victory coming in from Aurora Gaming, it's safe to say that after 5 matches of wins, Aurora is on a hot streak.
They are, and they could just continue this up until our last weeks of regular season.
And now we're gonna watch the winning calls from Aurora Gaming in this Infinix mic check.
Kaya pala, mali na tamaan ko.
Okay. Okay lang, patay ito.
Patay.
Pre, nasa ba tayo, pre? Sobrang...
Wala, nag-ulti ako para mag-trigger
Low Bea, pre.
May ipit to. Ito po, second card patingin.
Papakita ko ba tayo?
Huli. Bea.
Nice one.
Wala.
Wala kahit.
Tara nga, alala nga sa akin.
Tamaan ko.
Ruby.
Sayang.
Tamaan ulit.
Patay.
Nag-clear pa ako? Lolo ako?
Dito, susod sila dito. Pinpil ko dito sa 3.
Sila.
Di wala sila matarget oh. Bumalik ko sila.
Lord ko muna mid.
Lord na. Hindi na sila babalik.
Palad.
Ay, binigyan ako. Ang daway ako. Mataban ka.
Nasa Bea ka, pre. Mamatay Bea, pre.
Thank you.
Tamaan, pre.
Bea.
Sapo. Nice, tumama rin.
Very clean communication lines between Aurora Gaming and to be honest, that concealed play for that potential Lord take, all they said was chill out, bro. Just chill.
Yeah, and up until the end, there was a mini bit of thank you for that round.
The positioning from Light is just so supreme in that game. You saw the initiation that he was able to do with a taunt, and most importantly, the way that he canceled that conceal play coming out from AP Bren. Just the positioning is just so perfect.
Very nice game here for Aurora Gaming. Still number 1 in our Infinix standings here for MPL Philippines Season 16. And so far for APBR, that does put them further down below, but still a bit higher than Team Falcons, both of which struggling heavily right now in the regular season.
Yeah, still a vast difference if they want to eventually climb onto our Infinix standings. Meanwhile, for Aurora, we mentioned a very clear showcasing of their experience and as well as their chemistry here, not only onto our jungle go duo but also onto our mid and even roam duos.
And you can see that clearly being painted through their mic test. You saw how calm they are.
Yeah.
We're so precise. I mean, obviously, you're gonna hear some calls wherein you repeat it over and over again, but it was so clean when it comes to communications from RORA.
That's true. Well, Aurora Gaming still on top. Our next match would be ONIC Philippines versus Omega. Once again, it's Uomi, Athena, and Wolf. Don't worry, we'll be sending you to the hell.
Maraming salamat mga casters, and we saw once again kung gaano ka-dominant ang Aurora sa early game. Up until now, hindi pa rin talaga mapigilan. Mula dun sa mga week 1 na losses ng Aurora, lahat ay natutunan nila kung paano counterin ang ginagawa ng kalaban nila in the early game. Kaya naman, tuloy-tuloy ang kanilang pagkapanalo. Now, let's look at some of the K2Vs that we saw. Para sa APBR, hindi nila nagawa na mag-survive ng early game. Dun sa mga rotations na ginawa dito ng Aurora, hindi nila counter. In fact, napansin niyo ba na si Demon kahit ay umiikot sa mga tamang spots sa lane, katulad ng XP lane na move niya in game number 2, tapos gold lane naman ng game number 1, para ma-deny yung mga plano ng APBR sa early game. So, yung nagawa dito ng RORA ay i-deny yung keys to victory dito ng APBR. And additionally, nakuha naman yung tamang mid lane matchup dito ng RORA. I would say hindi nga rin talaga kasalanan to ng RORA mismo, pero pinilit din kasi ng side ng APBR na itong Lunox pick na meron sila that unfortunately did not work in their favor. RORA pa rin ang nasa taas ng ating standings, at eto na, as the kids would say, RORA needs to be studied. Yung early game ng Aurora, kailangan na talagang pag-aralan ng mga teams ngayon para makontra sila. But now, RORA is sitting up top our standings. That's our first series of the day. We still have a good matchup later on. It's ONIC going up against Omega at maraming pasabog for sure ang MPL. Kaya wag po kayong alis, magbabalik ang MPL PH Season 16.
Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, kahit anong lane, we become the monsters. Malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, Face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts. Winning any game para to sa PINAS. Di mo matitinag aming bosses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching the lane na parang gera. HP racing made a setup. Look like a tank, buhat ni Hilda. Full dome SS parang Laila.
Susundan ko ang iyong wakas. Kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to. Dahil tayo'y
malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Yeah. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama, just imagine what we can achieve. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Giving 100 on my all, cause we just cannot be defeated. We are unstoppable, immune and invulnerable. Ready ang equipment, lahat frozen, mala, crowd control. Pakita on the jab, beast to the southeast. Taas ang matawa, proud and loud, cause every enemy we devour.
Susundan ko ang iyong wakas. Kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to. Dahil tayo'y
malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Yeah. Lakas, Pinas, malakas. Kahit anong malakas, Pilipinas, malakas, Face the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, reunite with the stars. Ang lakas ng Pinas, with the stars.
Lalay. Gawin nyo pa, gawin nyo pa. Stun mo. Patay. Nice, pre. Kalma ha. Kalma kayo. Tingin. Nice one! Nice. Patulong. Lunox ka nyo. Patay. Tingin. Oh, Lunox. Birds nga. Trigger. Okay. Kaya, busan. Pre, wag na tayo mag-throw, pre, ha? Sige. Atin to, legit. Tingin. Walang burst lahat. Light lang meron yan. Ato ko, pre. Ligo. Kaya nyo pa? Kaya ni Pangs. Pangs, ha? Mamatay ka. Di kaya. Kaya mo, tangki ko. Pakait matay na ako.
And that was our Infinix mic check for our match number 1, APBR versus Team Falcons. And once again, welcome back to MPL Philippines Season 16. It's Athena. Together with me is Naisu and Renmar. What do you have to comment about that mic check, especially on to don't overthrow, please? Don't throw.
I like how they said that. Let's not throw this. Yeah, I feel like that's like the best shot call that you can hear to just straight up tell your teammates and your friends, hey, no more throwing.
And I do like that they also acknowledge the fact that it was also a game that could easily be maneuvered by Team Falcons, but that was more games with a game 3 for the first match.
By the way, there's more data, more GG. Experience the winning power of Smart's only 5G and enjoy it with the Smart Digital Prepaid eSIM.
Do you know who the simply reliable telco partner of the MPL is? I'm sure you know. It's Smart. Victories you can count on.
And that is something that we could count on, especially moving forward on their weeks here on MPL. But by the way, guys, you could also power up your Dunder Free Scalp supercharged with Clear.
Love it.
Why'd you look at me like that?
No, because we shared this desk.
Oh, yeah.
The one day
where that spiel said your dandruff scalp, not dandruff-free scalp.
I'm glad we got it.
Yep.
I'm glad
and
we got
that's
it
the
fixed.
importance of Clear for Dunder Free Scalp, right?
I use Clear, by the way. Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
My dad uses Clear.
There you go.
Why are you giving us that look of like, yeah, you guys are old. My dad's old too.
That's lore.
Yes, that's a kind of a rewind. But this is a recap for match number 1. It's AP Brent finishing off our series with a 2-1 against Team Falcons.
That's pretty impressive, though. I think if you guys missed that match, if you didn't get to catch it, I think still people would say that there's been improvements for Team Falcons. They're just in that slump. And we've seen even the best of the best be in this situation before previous seasons pass. Hopefully they can go ahead and fix that before we get too far into the regular season, because even, again, next week we're going into the halfway point already, week 4. So Team Falcons definitely wants to go ahead and start soaring further up the standings, because they're definitely having trouble. And again, AP Brent broke the lose streak that they were on.
You're right, and let's see how will that reflect on their Infinix tournament standing as we head on over on how will it look like. So far, that's currently 1 point added to their total match point, and so far still AP Brent is still on the top 7 if I'm right. Yeah. All right, on cue.
Yeah.
On cue.
Look at us, still right there, smack dab in the bottom, the flightless bird. It hurts.
Wings have been clipped a little bit.
Yeah, it hurts. But now we're going to be looking into the final match of the day that sees number 4 and number 5 RORA. Both of them are coming off of some really cool win streaks. So either TNC can threaten RORA's position, or RORA can not only solidify their position, but also threaten TLPH in the standings.
You're right. If they manage to get this round, they're going on to a total of 4. We'll be up against Twisted, eyeing for a tie for 4. Meanwhile, for TNC, if they able to get this game, they'll be ending the week onto a tough 4 spot for Infinix standing. But going forward, it's going to be TNC versus RORA. It's Chaknu versus Light, both veterans in the league. But so far for Chaknu, he's already cemented his legacy here on MPL.
I love this about. I always love when we get to go ahead and talk about Chaknu. There's something about Chaknu and like his history, the Mamba. I know there's been discussion about him online as well, but one thing's for sure, you can't deny his accolades, his achievements, everything that Chaknu has been able to achieve, and also the other roamers out there and players that he's inspired along the way.
And so far, one of his accolades actually is the MSC 2021. So looking back, or looking on the throwback rather here for Chaknu, with Etumax as well, it's kind of a reunion, right?
Yep. Of course, we're talking about, Etumax, Chaknu, Edward, and Coach Dexstar as well. Of course, they made up the Execration and Blacklist International rosters that competed in that MSC 2021 Grand Finals, where Execration won 4-1. We asked the community about which is the most iconic rivalry in MPLPH history, and they said it was this. It's Execration and Blacklist. And it was especially during this era where Chaknu solidified himself as a cultural icon for MLBB here in the Philippines.
It has been years actually. Even when I go to barangays, communities, kids always say, I want to be like Chaknu. I want to be the Chak Mamba. And that is how relevant he still is up until after all these years.
I think one of the great things about Chaknu and like his story is not only the things that he was able to accomplish within the game and in these historical moments, but also the story of him just being, I think a lot of our players, especially here in the Philippines, could relate to Chaknu. As a player, even as you see him here on your screens, he was your typical shy guy, playing, and then he would be making content, and he would be, a lot of content creators and everything else would go and collab with Chaknu, and then he would showcase his personality, which is, even in his interviews throughout the history of his career here in MPL Philippines, he would be rather shy to speak and everything else, but then he's like a totally different person in game. making these crazy highlights and plays. And there's been a time, of course, in the past couple seasons where it's like maybe he has struggled to replicate some of that, but there's always a moment in the season where it's like, damn, that was the Mamba. You know, that was the Mamba mentality that we see from Chaknu.
Yep.
And it's great to see, and hopefully he continues to be able to do that.
The Gen Z has a term for that, Chaknu core. And we're looking closer onto Chaknu's core or prime for our millennials out there. He has already surpassed 12 seasons in MPL, MSC 2021 champ, and you've mentioned this very iconic duel against Execration versus ONIC here, and some of the highlights here onto his MPL career.
Yeah, Execration really saw the height of their power in MPL Philippines Season 7 when they were threatening the placements of teams such as the legendary Aurora squad coming off of the back-to-back wins as Sunsparks, APBR, or then Bren Esports, of course the eventual champions Blacklist International. They made it to MSC as Omega. They fell short. They were eliminated by fellow Filipinos RSG. But even then, Omega really solidified themselves in the eyes of the international audience, especially Chaknu, as one of the guys to really watch out for when you're watching MPL Philippines. He has had a storied career, yet he has yet to win the MPL Philippines trophy. And he is the only Hall of Legends member so far who has yet to achieve that.
You're right. And definitely he's onto adding up titles under his name as he heads back on, and this time under a different banner, which is TNC Pro Team. But by the way, for our community, we have another question for you. Who is Chaknu's biggest rival? Is it A, Light, B, Yawi, C, Lassie, or D? Comment down below what you think about other players as well that has been his biggest rivals.
Who would his
that's tough.
biggest rival? Would it be?
I think me. Because in their interviews, he has this one-liners.
Oh, that's true.
I'm prone to that now.
You're his rival right now.
Okay.
But on a serious note,
Would it be Yawi though? Like, I don't know. Or Lusty.
Okay.
It can't be Light, right? Like maybe currently.
Yeah, a lot of our newer fans might not be familiar with just how heated the rivalry was between Lusty and Chaknu, because it was those two for a good amount of time. It was like, oh yeah, they are the best. But I think we also cannot downplay the Light Chaknu rivalry, especially during the MSC season, because that was heated. That was a really good one from MPL Philippines Season 9 heading into the MSC season where 22? Yeah, 22.
And it could still continue for this match number 1. He's up against Light versus Aurora, and TNC is looking to somehow solidify their win from yesterday, right?
Yeah. So for TNC here, I think this is really going to be a difficult matchup considering the heavyweights that Aurora has faced off and won against, but more on that later.
And let's welcome on our players. It's going to be the last match for this Sunday. It's TNC Pro Team versus Aurora Gaming.
The fire continues to burn for the Phoenix Army. It's Three-Mar, Zaida, Lancy, Chaknu, and Benny Cutie rising once more. TNC Pro Team. The light shines bright once more with all their might. It's Edward, Dominkite, Yue, Light, and Demonkite. Lights up for Aurora! To oversee and uphold the tournament's integrity, guiding us through this match are our marshals, Joshua, JJ, Patrick, and Jeff. Joined by our two teams are our coaches. It's Coach Etomax for TNC and Coach Master the Basics for Aurora. Will the lights shine brighter? Will they burn even hotter? MPL Arena, I want to hear you scream!
Coming up from a great match, it's TNC Pro Team up against Aurora.
And here we go, TNC once again. It's Three-Mar, Zaida, Lancy, Chaknu, and Benny Cutie. There's a whole lot of guys we can focus here on, but also for Three-Mar specifically. I love what the XP laners in general have been able to do, man. But also, again, we talked about Chaknu, his potential, his value to this lineup, allowing them. So Chaknu and Three-Mar is always what you really want to look at. It's the XP laners and the roamers really coming down to a synergy to work together, allowing Zaida the space to be able to move around the jungle, and then eventually Benny Cutie as well. What we expect from Benny Cutie himself.
And now they're up against Aurora Gaming with this time with Light on the lead as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Chuck is very familiar with Light's playstyle and how he loves to manipulate the sneaky surprise angles. But if TNC want to give RORA a challenge, they need to address two key figures here, Yue and Edward. Yue has found himself to be just a Kimmy mainstay right now, with Aurora constantly giving it to him, and they look very comfortable playing around his Kimmy and supplementing it with Baksha roams, Gato roams, anything that can just hold the front line. High loss roam for Light. And of course, Edward, who is now touted by many here in MPL Philippines, not just the community, but the players themselves, saying that Edward is currently the best EXP laner in the league this season.
And right on cue, onto our team head-to-head, we're currently seeing some of the stats favoring onto the side of Aurora Gaming.
I like that, with Edward specifically, he's had so many monikers, so many nicknames, but definitely this season he's been that Mr. Consistent and been able to do so much for the team here. But that's the thing. I want to just say, I'm excited to see this one, and we get to see it here briefly.
And we get to see and hear what our player has to say before we start off our match. This is our Smart 5G ping test.
Okay, kalaban na naman Aurora. Ako usapin mo nga anak. Pumili ka dito ng gagamitin kong topic. Shoutout nga pala kay Edward. Sobrang galing mo mag-XP Sana makaisa sa'yo. Tingin nga Yun no. Anong malakas? Baka yung charisma ko lang. Dami nanonood sa Aurora guys. Panis sa mga Phoenix Army. Pero okay lang din natin bibigoyin yan.
Message ko sa TNC, good luck. Umibig sa'yo. Panis sa akin lahat yan, Brad. Uy, Philippines! Pre, wag ka nga magmadali, pre. Yung minamadali ako, pre. Ayokang pinipressure ako, boy, ha? 4-3! Baka daming to. Doming! Doming is the man. Pang! Divine Judgment. Divine Judgment. Nandito ako. Woo!
And that's it for a Smart 5G ping test. The players are in high spirits for this round.
They are. I feel like it's always going to end with someone singing, man.
Yeah, I think we need to have one ping test where it's just like karaoke style.
Yeah.
Like they're given a song to a cappella, and we're going to see who gets to do it better.
You're right, but I was caught off guard on the barking sound here for Demon Kite. I was so confused.
Yeah, Demon Kite has a devilish laugh.
He does.
That is a revelation for me.
I would like to hear it again. I think even when Demon Guy plays, he does things and you can actually see him laugh behind us.
If he could laugh like that, let's see if he will reflect onto their match. But that's it over onto Infinix Geese to victory with Wolf with the Howl.
Welcome to The Howl. Ako nga pala si Wolf, bringing you the Infinix keys to victory. It's Aurora going up against TNC. Dalawang teams na nung week number 1 ay nag-struggle pero nakabawi naman ng malupit come week number 2. And since then, they're on a winning streak. And tingnan natin kung sino nga ba ang makapag-keep ng kanilang momentum and whose streak will end today. And for TNC to be the ones on top, ang kailangan nilang gawin ay mag-capitalize sa kanilang late game comfort. It's no secret na ang gusto ng TNC, lalong-lalo na sa members nila and sa kanilang coaching staff, ay yung matapos yung laro in a late game scenario. Mas maganda ang itsura ng TNC at nagtatransform talaga sila when they do get into the late game. And if you compare that to Aurora, na ang main weakness is pagdating ng late game, yung pag-close out nila ng mga laro, kahit lamang sila ng above 10k gold lead or above 7k gold lead, minsan hindi pa rin nila natatapos. Kaya naman maganda ang magiging scenario kapag ang TNC ay nag-capitalize sa kanilang late game. And also, kailangan lang nilang bigyan ang bagyong Benny ng isang winning matchup doon sa may gold lane. It's very clear na si Benny QT ay iba rin talaga ang nagagawa kapag sa mga late game scenarios and most importantly, kapag maganda yung kanyang heroes sa kanyang mga nakakatapat. This is something that TNC needs to also maximize. And now, para naman sa Aurora, kailangan nilang i-force si Chakno na maglaro ng utility o kaya ng sustain. Although nanalo na si Chakno with the Gatot Kacha, it wasn't the case from week number 1. At very clear pa rin na kapag catch heroes katulad ng Grok, sobrang explosive ni Chakno at ng TNC. So para sa Aurora, kailangan lang nilang ipuwersa si Chakno na maglaro ng ganitong klaseng heroes. Also, kailangan nilang i-disrupt yung mga pre-turtle at yung mga pre-lord na setups mula sa TNC. Dahil sa coaching staff na rin ng TNC and the way that they play, it's also clear that they wanted to secure neutral objectives by starting the fights first at pag-setup ng kanilang formation. RORA needs to just disrupt it by either playing fast or having better rotations. Yan po ang ating abangan sa TNC versus RORA. Tingnan natin kung sino ba nga ba ang winning streak na magtutuloy-tuloy sa ngayon. Back to the casters.
Thank you so much, Wall, for Infinix keys to victory. And finally, we see very distinct and very precise onto what they could focus on onto this matchup.
Yeah, and clearly, even in the Infinix keys to victory, you gotta put focus onto Chaknu to force him to play other kinds of heroes.
Yeah.
So, with everything that Chaknu has achieved in his career, third overall in terms of all-time assists in MPLPH, all-time games played, he's 7th overall at 390, average assists. He was first overall in MPLPH Season 14, and that's when we really started to see and feel the threat of him playing our revitalized heroes, such as the Hylos, and most importantly, the Mathilda. So even if Aurora can force Chaknu to play sustained utility, do you really want to give the surprise Mathilda pick to Chaknu, which has proved to be poisonous in the past?
That's a good question, just because, you know, again, there are ways for teams to go ahead and approach this. Like when you have a playmaker like Chaknu. And again, there's always that. I feel like, yes, we have a lot of amazing. Wow, I wonder who he's writing, by the way, on his hands. But
drawing on himself.
When you have a playmaker like Chaknu and he's able to go ahead and you see his accolades there, that's something definitely you can focus on when it comes to the draft, and why even in the Howl you can see how they could possibly hone in on some of the options that Chaknu picks up. We might see that when we get to the bans for the first game here, though, too. But even so, I think Chaknu is going to be one of those players where, like, you can only go ahead and ban so much from him because he's got such a wide hero pool. Yes, we typically see him like on the Kufras, the Groks, the Hyloses, and things like that. But sometimes you'd actually be surprised at how even he can transition to some of those more support heroes, some of those more sustainability heroes, and actually still make pretty good plays off of those. So I'm really curious how RORA is going to go ahead and handle that when it comes to the draft here.
Yeah, and remember, he still has a Beleric. They've shown that with the Louis, remember, for Smart Omega.
Yeah.
And it was quite deadly and poisonous here. And alongside with that, and I would like to reiterate that Chaknu, even though he doesn't have an MPL PH title yet, he is a Hall of Legends in the feed. There's a reason behind that. People and teams are acknowledging his comfort heroes and signature heroes as well. Well, let's head on over onto our drafting phase. It's going to be TNC on the red side and blue side here for Aurora.
Yeah. Speaking of comforts, for Aurora, there are 3 comforts you have to watch out for if you're TNC. The Hylos for Light, the Harith for Domenkite, and why am I slipping? There's one more. What am I thinking of? A Juicin for Yue. Or excuse me, no, Kimi for Yue. There we go.
Yeah.
So with the Uranus bans, you're encouraged to pick up heroes that... there we go. Good respect ban here by TNC, but you're willing to give the Rome Baksha for Light, which is going to be massive, actually.
There's going to be the triple flex here for Aurora, and they're willing to part ways with the Kalea, by the way. That is still open here if ever TNC gets that opportunity. And I do like that this could still stick to Benny Cutie's side as well onto winning the gold lane matchup.
Yeah.
Harith is still open, so by the way.
Yeah, I'm revisiting the stats here. Baksha is the pick here for TNC. Let's see if they're willing to pick up the Harith for Benny Cutie. Red side stats even. TNC rarely prioritize the Benny Cutie pick for Red 1-2. So let's see if that's going to change here, because they definitely need to take the Harith away from the hands of Domenkai. The problem is with the presence of the Baksha and the Tortoise's Puissance that he brings to the table might not be the best. So here comes the first swerve of the season. TNC locking their 2 cores very early on. This is something that they don't usually do, but I think going up against RORA, this is something that they need to do.
Is this just... Yeah, I was going to say, is it a little too honest, or is it just something that they have to do against a team like RORA? So, but... This is what I'm saying, like in their case, for TNC, they can then go ahead and play around with the second half of the draft and those picks, which is probably going to be again, the Chaknu pick, or possibly even the 3-Mar pick. They could go the mid lane option here, depending on what RORA does. RORA could choose to go ahead and take the Farsa. They do go Moskov, Lapu. So they'll also lock in their XP and then gold now here.
Okay, very honest approach here for TNC. And ensuring the winning lineup or matchup against this Lapu. A very nice CC early pick here for Coach Etomax, and then directly banning out the chip, which really worked wonders for Aurora's last game onto Twisted.
Yeah, it's a great pickup for Light here. We also cannot turn off this idea that this Baksha still might go into the jungle for Demon Kite, although for majority of the games that we've seen so far lately, it has been a roam Baksha. There's still a good chance that an assassin could show up for Aurora. I think with AP Bren setting a precedent in the previous series, we now have to consider a surprise last pick or last 2 picks, Suyo, to show up. So now Aurora need to take away some mid laners away from Lancy. With the Juicing gone, they might be considering taking away the Farsa. They might even play on the gambit of leaving it open so that Yue ends up with it. But if ever the Farsa gets taken away, there's also still even an Eve option for Aurora, which right now looks very good for them, considering that it's a CC, YSS, and Harith. Yue Eve would give that a lot of difficulty.
It does look good. And I honestly want to see the Eve yet again and falling onto the hands of Yue. But looking closer here onto TNC Pro Team, they're still missing their +4 and as well as a hero for Chaknu. That might be somewhat of a target here for Coach MTB for Aurora.
Yeah, I think that's why you see like these last couple bands taking a little bit of time there. They go with the jungle option just in case. Again, they could go ahead and decide to do something different with the Baksha. Yeah. There's the Grok too, one of the heroes we were talking about for Chaknu, who has probably been one of the better performers on the Grok so far up to this point in week 3.
Either a Gata Kacha or a Hylos would slot in very well here for the lineup of TNC. Leaning a little bit more towards the Gata Kacha, considering that a Gata Kacha plus a Baksha, somehow, if Aurora find a way to make it work, would be a problem. So they do go ahead and pick it up with the... Gata Kacha sort of softly turns off the Eve. So they still might either settle for Kagura. Can't recall if Yue has a Selena pick. I'm going to have to double check that.
You're right. Selena is actually at the back of my head right now for Yue. Just so you could have that mobility in the early game. Shane crowd controls here for Aurora. But meanwhile, I was also eyeing the Akai pick earlier here for TNC. But a safer route will be the Gata Kacha. Plenty of options still. You've mentioned the Kagura here for Yue. Lilia pathway, let's see if it's possible. Oh, Franco.
Whoa! A light special.
Yeah. And they do get the Kagura. Okay. This is a bit of a throwback. Light and Chaknu on opposite sides. Light paired up with the Kagura while he has a Franco. Very familiar territory here for Chaknu. I think Lancy would want to consider picking up the Novaria actually, but no. It's he who ends up with the Selena in his hands. Typical Selena Kagura, a classic matchup in the mid lane. Throwbacks all around.
We've actually seen this a lineup before this week. I just forgot the specific matchup. And it really worked wonders. Selena Gata Kacha. Either way, whatever comes first still has the same solution.
Yeah. That was actually Team Liquid Philippines versus Omega Esports game number 2.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You got me. Okay. Anyway,
I got you.
Yeah, and anyway, here for the index, Aurora still has the lead here in terms of early to mid game. And even the late game is also covered with the Moscow pick.
Yeah, I think this is also just... It's a very close lineup on both sides. They have great potential in the early game and late game, and one thing you can't count out is Light's Franco.
You're right. And now we head onto the Land of Dawn for match number 2, game number 1, the Battle of Aurora versus TNC Pro Team.
Actually, looking at the lineup of Aurora, it's very Season 9 coded. Tanky fighter jungler with a pick-off roamer plus a burst mage in the Kagura. You have a Lapu because it's not a Uranus Esme side lane. Moskov wasn't there in Season 9, but you know what I mean.
Because you've mentioned the flashback, right? Yeah. The C21 flashback. We have flashbacks here on their hero. And for TNC Pro Team, we have Chaknu back again.
Wow.
Arrow hitting.
Oh, look at that. What a hook!
What a catch!
Oh, and they'll catch him anyway. Yue gets the first blood. And that's exactly why I said you can't count out Light Franco on this.
Oh
What
my
a play.
gosh.
That was
That's
sick.
an early explosive crowd here for RORA.
Yeah, man, if Coach Panda's watching this, I bet he's... Oh, and he even
that
steals
too.
away the EXP.
You can't count him out, I said.
All right, light is on fire. You gotta heat check this Franco quick or he will keep hooking people.
Don't discount Light. But there's a discount, by the way, for MPL Philippines tickets. It's only 189 from 250.
Get
Right
those.
now,
Pamasco.
yeah, we have the Pamasco early super fan promo. But right now for Aurora, that's a huge momentum boost, right?
Yeah. Early start like that's going to be great. Now, in the grand scheme of things, is it much? Maybe not so. I think a big part of that, though, will be on how they play into that first hurdle. The kill, though, did go to Yue, which Yue on the Kagura is going to help him out. Look at there. There's a hook again. Chaknu, though, tanky enough. Will be able to take up most of that damage. Still holds on. Oh, he had to use the Revitalize earlier, so but he's going to have it for this next objective when it comes up.
Yeah, Ben Cutie, of course, no surprise, he's winning in lane against the Moskov, and I'm sure Dominic is very familiar with that matchup. Light, let's see if he'll be able to get a hook in. Demon Kite here. I don't think TNC will be able to contest this healthily. They'll have to give it up.
Yep, might be a free turtle here. As Edward proactively checks their map.
Yeah.
Even you, that's kind of scary, Lapu-Lapu.
Yeah, you're not
that I
gonna
would want to face.
You see a guy jumping in the air, you're like, I'll come back later.
Yeah.
That's the first red flag. You see someone waving their sword around.
That's a definite red flag in my book.
Yeah, just don't whip your sword out and start waving it around. That is a massive red flag. TNC, all right. We'll be giving that up, playing it safe, and that's a good call. Again, Aurora know the advantage that they have in their lineups. The proactive choices by Edward, the proactive choices by Light.
Oh, there's the arrow though too, but they're gonna have to force the fight anyway. Revitalize is gonna be popped from Chaknu, but he just takes too many shots. Can't AOG out. So now another kill in the hands of Aurora. Good play there, good response.
Very good na pick up here, Aurora Red again, and Chaknu falling down this early.
Yeah, quite difficult here for the lineup of TNC. Despite with being how good the Unbreakable plus Abyssal Arrow combo is for the Gatakacha and the Selena. Problem is you put yourself at risk diving so close against a hero that can flicker, hook you further away to more danger. Demon Card is not going to fall easily. And just the damage AoE that is brought out by Kagura means there's a high chance you're punishing two divers compared to Lancy and Chaknu just locking down one.
Yeah.
So that in itself from that little trade is already advantage for Aurora. Now, as we look at the items, Dreadnought Armor is the rush here for Demon Kite. It is going to take some time till we really start feeling the damage here of Zyda. If Aurora starts rush building Blade Armors, maybe second item after building Athena's shields, oh, it's not going to be good news here, and a lot of pressure will be on Benny Cutie to show up.
And for Aurora, they know who to take off first. And you've mentioned, even if the arrow hits anyone from the side of Aurora, you wouldn't really love to dive onto a hero that could easily burst you down with a Kagura here onto Yue, and the Rush War Axe also here for Edward. Now, the crazy guy is activated. Another huge red flag if you're TNC Pro Team, eyeing out the next big objective here on the map.
I think they... Looks like they might get this one up too. They're going to be too late by the time they rotate in. Even though Chaknu is here with 3 Mar, he's all by himself. Pops a Revitalize again. Demon Kite will be able to secure the turtle, and now Chaknu on the disengage. It just seemed like the timing wasn't right for TNC as Zyda was off getting his buff.
Yeah, that was a risky trade.
You're right, and there was a question mark because Zyda was way over onto the other side of the map, and Chaknu was just trying to delay things up here for Aurora?
I don't think that was just a delay. There are some moments where the teams would call for, hey, let's just try to steal it. And then maybe someone in the team would also say, we'll be able to survive through it. But that was just way too risky for my taste. However, they were able to get away. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt if ever they decide to contest another objective with their jungler not being close by.
You're right. High risk, high reward plays. But now, are they taking the risk? Looks like no or not yet here for a TNC Pro Team.
Still very close to the gold. Actually, despite Benny Cutie winning earlier, because of the turtle secured by Aurora, Dominic Kite has eked out over Benny Cutie in terms of the lead. Now TNC are making the smart call with pressuring Dominic Kite up top, but he holds the shrub well. And now their jungle is getting invaded by Demon Kite.
A hook again from Light will find the mark on Zyda. Zyda gone, he's going to lose his purple too, so TNC just chooses to take the tier 1 up top. but they lost the mid turret. So RORA right now taking control. It's going to be another fight. They're going to force Delman Kite. He's going to have to rely on the team. They find Benny Cutie. Even with his dominant force, he's trying to run away. Chaknu pops to revitalize again. Even with the arrows from Lancey, all he can do is watch Chaknu fall. TNC just can't get it together.
We just see the despair here, still struggling to find their first kill for this round. It's already 6 minutes into game 1.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering whether Selena was the big hit for TNC Pro Team. I did pose a Novaria as a possibility because you're seeing with how close RORA can afford to fight together as a team. An Astral Echo would have actually messed things up for TNC, but no point crying over spilled milk. It's just now that RORA, understandably so, are just dominating the map. Now TNC Pro Team has to play through a counter-punch style, but Light has just been so good.
Oh, where are they going to go? Chaknut charging up the Unbreakable, but it's just a little bit too late. Turtle secured. 3 for 3 for RORA. And TNC, really, it just seems like they don't have much of a choice but to just kind of buckle in for this one, but they're falling further behind, facing a 4,000 gold deficit.
They're ready here, so might as well improvise on some things, especially onto the Selena pick for Lancey. As we've mentioned, you would want to shine early on, especially for Selena, hitting those right marks. But with that, their damage just isn't there yet.
Chaknu gets hooked again. He falls now for the third time.
Wow.
Spear Destruction going to be used, but you know, follow that one under the turret with 4 members of TNC. But RORA just finding these marks from Light.
Yeah, way too tough at this point to play around the Selena. 2,000 is the gold deficit between Yue and Lancey. And TNC just has to accept that they're going to have to play a very long game here to try and turn things around. RORA, they are not going to let this up. This is a comfortable, dominant lead. Again, say what you will about their lineup, Light has just been so good.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even if he wasn't landing those iron hooks, I still see this as a dominant RORA game.
Especially for TNC still struggling to find the right targets. Instead, it's RORA keep hitting the right targets onto shutting down Lancey, shutting down Zaida, and multiple times in a row that Chaknu wasn't able to do much so. Activating the Revitalist just so he could survive. And survivability isn't what you would count on for TNC Pro Team.
Chaknu trying to hold up the front. They're going to get the tier 2 anyway. Yue anyway for the backside. Light jumps in again, burning the flicker. Won't be able to find that iron hook, but that's what they wanted. They just wanted that tier 2 turret. They'll get some more resources, taking the orange buff now from TNC. And they got 15 seconds for this lore to come up.
And for TNC Pro Team, how do you get out of the situation? Struggling to find the beat for the game number 1.
Yeah, it's going to have to come through defense, a counterplay somewhere along the lines of Chaknu having to sacrifice his life for a big AOG coming out of base, while TNC Pro Team just slowly whittles down the frontliners of Aurora. They will not be able to reach Dom and Kite safely enough. Maybe Yue will be able to get away, but maybe a trade of Chaknu for Light and Edward, or Light and Demon Kite, and then just build through there with a slow push out of base. But with how well RORA are managing the minion waves with the constant pressure, it's going to be way too tough to even get out of it. That's the first free Lord goes to RORA.
You're right. And for TNC Pro Team, the pressure is still slowly building up. Just when they have to improvise, now they also have to somehow control the map, because all of it is in favor for RORA. Even onto the turret score, they're still struggling to find a play here for Benny Cutie.
Even looking at this point, you know, for TNC, you got to make something happen, and that something might just be RORA making a massive mistake, because with this kind of lead, this kind of composition, they're going to be able to make something, force a response from TNC, even in this base. I mean, look at Domikite. He's playing so up front because of just how much of a lead, and it forces them back so they get the Holy Shield before that wave will push in. So Domikite alone being threat enough. I mean, he's 0-0-2, but you can feel just how stacked he is on the damage of the items because of this lead. So even with the shields down, Lord will charge into that mid-wave. The spears just piercing on through, popping this through. There's the Revitalize. They're going to have to fight, but look at the damage already. Not enough as 3Mar's going to fall. And TNC will be able to hold on to the base turrets, though.
Light landed another hook, and he fished 3Mar out of base. And Aurora can honestly just keep this up. I think at this point, TNC might already be looking towards game number 2.
And they're looking like a fish here for Aurora, as Aurora slowly advances here on their inhibitor turret, and Edward Demon Kite knows there's no one from the side of TNC Pro Team to totally lock them down, and Light locking in onto certain heroes is the key here for Aurora.
Light will take that every time that flicker is available. Could be, one of those moments where he just lands that hook and then they force a team fight here for TNC. But they lost 2 base turrets, hold on to the bottom one. RORA decides to go ahead and just reset, farm back up, get the buffs. They have a minute on this Lord here, and they've got complete control of the map. There isn't much space for TNC to really work with. They're forced to just kind of roam around together and not get caught out. The problem is, roaming around together and you're all bunched up, Light's just looking at him like, yeah, this is a lot easier for me. Just throw out the hook, and half the time he's going to grab someone.
Yeah. He's rubbing his hands together. Like, oh, you're sticking together. Don't put all your eggs onto one basket. And for TNC Pro Team, they look like eggs.
Oh, they take it! Dominic goes in! He saw the mark, winning with the Spirit of Destruction, and he's unleashing it now on the backside. Yue will jump in. Chaknu staying up front. This might be an angle for RORA to end, even without the Lord. They know they have the numbers advantage. Dumbing again, going to the front side. He's just going to lock into the base. They're going to have to do something to deal with him. Chaknu trying to save time. An arrow thrown out, but Edward jumps into the backside again. A double for Dominic Kite, trying to get a triple, but they don't care. They'll take game 1 in this best of 3.
That's going to be a clean game. And a perfect score here for Aurora as they figure out a way to beat TNC for game number 1.
It's really sad to see that this entire game was dictated by the fact that the initial trade in the center of the map at around minute 1, minute 2 dictated the rest of the game. The fact that Light was able to still catch the hook onto Chaknu while they were already backing off from the trade, committing the flicker, securing the kill, meant that the Gatakacha was already a disadvantage to continue trading. Add to that you already lose your advantage with having a Selena with you that could potentially check the bushes. Everything just crumbled through one big win by Light and Aurora at the center of the map.
And that was a big ride onto the momentum created by Light, especially onto the first blood. Remember, for TNC Pro Team, they have the advantage to somehow dominate the game with the Selena here for Lancy, but this is going to be,
kind of sassy there too.
Be careful onto the iron hooks and hooking his way here onto his game number 1 MVP. It's going to be Light with a 008 KDA.
This is how you know how dominant this Franco was. He just had Winter Crown fleeting time. That is max cooldown reduction. He doesn't care about fronting. He has 2 dudes fronting for him. His job is to hook, bite. That's it.
And he did. It's funny because in that first blood, I was like, in the greater scheme of things, this bigger picture, that's not too bad for TNC. But then when it kept happening time after time after time again from Light, then it just compounded up and built up. I mean, that's where it started, So again, and that's what we were talking about. The link, the sync between Light and Demon Kite is so apparent on their timings even.
And looking at this one, he just keeps reeling in the targets, making it easier for you and even Demon Kite to catch up onto the targets. And even if the Iron Hook misses out, there's still the Bloody Hand that you could consider.
Yeah, one of the difficult things about playing around the Selena in your composition is if it's a massive lead, close to like 7,000 and up, or around 10 minutes in, it's very difficult to make a comeback through that because your Selena will not have the items enough to shred someone down. And again, you're going up against a lineup that's centered around a tanky fighter jungler. The chances of you being able to hit a target with your Abyssal Arrow to turn things around is incredibly low. Add to that, you already had a disadvantage for yourself after losing that initial trade in the center of the map. I'm still going to double down on the idea that this Selena pick was way too much of a gambit, way too risky, and just was not the right call.
It wasn't the right call because you just throwing out arrows, man. And if you don't land the arrows, you saw Lancy, he's just kind of forced to be like, well, I'll see ya.
So his emblem build also meant that he wanted to deal more damage to Turtles and Lords, apparently.
And apparently it didn't happen here for TNC Pro Team. And looking back, they were the last pick, right, for the red side. That was the last pick, Selena. And as much as we would want to hype it up, we cannot sugarcoat that it wasn't really the kind of mage that you would want specifically partnered up with Chaknu.
Yeah, you already see El Franco on the other side. You see Arbaxia on the other side.
Yeah.
That's way too risky already. I appreciate when teams take risks, but risks that lean a little bit more towards like 60-40, 75, no, not math, math mode. 65-35, you know, things like that. Not when it's like a 90 to 10% chance. It's way too much.
100% here for Aurora. 9-0 kill score.
Yeah,
and as well as for TNC, it's like, don't push that red button, but they still pushed it.
I'm leaning a little bit more towards the idea that if you're giving up the Boxer or the Uranus to the opposing team, you can't pick up YSS anymore. Not to say that it's impossible, but it's way too hard. You have to take so many conditions in the early game that it's just so much easier for an opposing lineup that has a Uranus or an opposing lineup that has a Boxer to say, all right, sure, let's just walk up to your jungle, delay you for a bit. Take those conditions, man.
Yeah, that was the case. And even then, like Zyda there wasn't much he could do. So when you have Zyda that's kind of in that position, but also Lancey on the Selena, the rest of the team, it's like, what do they do? And that's why, again, Chaknu, I feel like, you know, we talked a lot about him and his accolades and achievements and everything else. But even in this case, it doesn't matter. Like, because as he's tanking up the damage and your jungler and your carries are behind, there's no follow through. You know, like a roamer can only do so much to try to set things up. But when you fall behind the way that they did here in Game 1, that was just a very difficult lineup to actually get an opportunity or a window to come back into this game.
And this man has the window, as our BPR rich guy, Dominkite, really didn't struggle for game number 1. He was really free to roam around. As we mentioned, they've got the early to mid potential, and as well as the late game, if ever things go south here for Aurora, they were able to showcase their skills. And by the way, guys, you could also showcase your esports skills and passion for gaming by organizing your own local tournaments through project Esports for Everyone.
Participants in this program will be provided with special access to the tournament modes, in-game items, diamonds, and plenty more.
All you need to do is visit the MPL PH website for more information on how to apply.
You get the feels as a pro player, tournament setting, all of the skins possible to use. But other way, there's another year and another potential new world champion.
Oh, maybe. But do we have another one coming up this year? Because this is something special for everybody.
It's MCGG.
MCGG.
Yeah, and anyone and everyone can now enter the MCGG Rising Stars, a new in-game feature where players can participate to win a world championship title. And this is my chance to be a world champion.
Yeah, you're currently talking to the number 90 1-1 commander user. I went from 45 to 67 and 90. I am still on that lose streak.
What happened? You lost?
Yeah, I keep losing.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
And now we move forward on to our next segment where we hear from our host with our All Access.
Maraming salamat sa ating mga casters. We are here just right in front of the MPL Arena at kasama natin ngayon ang mga kampiyon ng inaugural season ng NCAA Esports. Please give it up for your champions, Colegio de San Juan de Letran. There you have it. Guys, it's so nice to have you here with us. Welcome to MPL Philippines. Mind if you please introduce yourselves, maybe your IGN at ano yung role nyo, just for everybody who's watching.
Hello po, I'm Mercado, Gold Laner and Team Captain of Letran po.
George Brendimbang, ex-laner for Letran Cyber.
Marcus Deola, jungler for Letran Cyber Knights.
Christian Alex San Diego, ex-laner of Letran Cyber Knights.
Philip Fonsi Acera, roamer ng Letran Cyber Knights.
I am Aaron Jacob C. Corpus, mid laner of Cyber Knights.
Uncle Ju, team ambassador in Letran Cyber Knights.
I am Hans Steve Nieva, head coach and team manager of Letran Cyber Knights.
Wala na eh. Oo, hindi ko na ginawa eh. Kasi parang very, very serious ang atake nila, Odin.
Nga. Welcome to MPL Arena. I love your aura today. Ang ganda ng mga jersey nyo. Kumusta naman ang pagbisita nyo dito sa MPL Arena? Talk to us about your experience.
Yung experience po namin dito sa arena is napakalamig and napaka-enjoyable po talaga kasi iba't ibang kupunan po yung mga sinusuportahan ng mga fans, ganun, and may mga sigawan din talaga. Bawat scene is grabe yung pagsuporta ng mga fans sa bawat team po.
Hindi kasi sinabihan ng
Oo
coach
nga.
na magdala ng jacket.
Sobrang real niya for that ha. Balita ko bago to yung jersey nila, pero sa Letran Knights baka gusto niyo daw po magpa-jacket para sa kanila.
Yun, ang gusto namin. Sino yung hirit? Sino yung hirit? Sino yung hirit?
Ako po.
Anyway, meron ba kayong team or favorite player dito? Uncle Ju, ikaw.
Oh, Uncle Ju, sino ba favorite
yung
mong player?
favorite player mo?
Carl TC, TLPH, walang kabayas-bayas.
Walang kabayas-bayas.
Oo,
By the way, guys,
straight
streamer din po pala siya ng MPL Philippines specifically para sa TLPH. I wanna know more about the team naman. Gusto ko malaman, Mercado, I want this for you. Nung nalaman mo ba na nagkaroon ng NCAA Esports in your division? Kasi I know that the Cyber Knights have been going on for a while now, di ba? Pero nung nalaman nyo that esports is gonna be a thing now, how did you prepare? How did you make it happen para maging kampiyon kayo ng NCAA?
Nung nalaman po namin na merong esports na sa NCAAs, lalo kami naging gigil po manalo. And gusto po namin talaga i-represent yung Letran sa NCAA. Tapos araw-araw lang po kami nagpa-practice and ginagawa po namin best namin kahit ano mangyari.
Congratulations for that. At punta muna tayo sa head coach na very familiar sa atin and not just the head coach but laging nandito sa MPL Arena. Pakilala mo kung sino ka, Hans.
Sa mga hindi po nakakakilala sa akin, ako po ay parte po ng MPL Philippines. Nagsimula po ako ng usher noong season 13 and ngayon po na-promote po ako bilang head usher ngayon season 16. It's my privilege na mag-servisyo sa mga audience dahil gusto ko po ma-experience sila. Mabigay yung best experience nila habang nanonood dito sa MPL.
Right, just in case you guys aren't familiar, siya yung nagsasabi sa inyo, saan po kayong side? Dito po ba kayo sa TNC? Sa Aurora? Just to give you guys an idea, he came as an usher, now as the head coach of the Letran Cyber Knights, and they're gonna be competing elsewhere. Saan pa ba namin kayo makikita? Ano pa ba dapat naming abangan sa Cyber Knights?
Abangan nyo po kami sa mga future tournaments namin and sana maka-join pa kami sa susunod na MCC na Munton.
Maraming salamat.
And sa Thailand, kasi po yun po yung prize namin nung nag-champion kami.
Alright, they're gonna be going overseas and that's an ideal scenario. Once again, please, let's give it up for the Letran Cyber Knights. Maraming salamat. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We're gonna toss it right back to our casters.
Thank you so much, host, and congratulations to Letran Cyber Knights.
Where are they going? Overseas? Where are they?
I think it's a prize for them. Maybe a reward for their hard work as well.
We're going to Santorini in Greece.
Santorini?
I don't know if that's actually true. I'm just making stuff up.
Okay.
Well,
I'm feeling it, though. I'm feeling it.
it's okay. And I do love seeing our collegiate esports on a tournament and very competitive scene as the first ever NCAA champion for our college students out there. It's still possible to pursue your dream while studying and to be a pro esports player.
Athena, I always, every time I hear interviews like that or get to go and see these collegiate tournaments going on, I'm always like, man, I wish that I had this during my time. But that's okay because we still get to be a part of it.
Yeah, and for now, let's be part of our drafting phase. It's Aurora picking up the blue side yet again here, Naisu, and still banning out the Fanny, Jishin, and for TNC, still the never-ending 1-1 respect ban.
Just ban it out. I'm actually wondering if TNC would think about. I don't know. No, there's no way. Never mind. There's no way in the world that TNC is going to be like, let's ban out the Franco.
Hey, what if?
It'd be so weird if they did because it was one of those things where it's like you're not going to see the Franco pop up much unless it's like light. Maybe some of the other roamers we've had out there in the past, but it was definitely something that started things off on the right start for Aurora, and them being on blue, they're probably going to still prioritize because the Boxer was actually banned out this time. I have a feeling if this isn't one of the jungle bans here, we might see a Lancelot or YSS picked up by RORA unless they decide to go ahead and prioritize the XP lane instead and go with one of the XP lane options here like the CC since that's still through. But I think that's what TNC has to decide. What are they willing to go ahead and trade up here?
What do you want to somehow eliminate, right? And so far our teams are willing to part ways with a Lancelot onto the red, a third ban here.
There it is.
And Ryan and Q here for TNC. Other options still here for Aurora. Mentioned XP laners, the Lapu,
Yep.
CC, but it's going to be somewhat different because the backshot has been banned out for this round.
What if they just went to YSS?
What if?
You know, yeah, because like like what we were saying earlier was like the Baksha was one of those answers where it's like if you're going against the YSS, you have the Baksha, you're tanky enough, you have your passive of course, and everything else, you can go ahead and utilize the team to complement the Baksha to invade that side of the jungle and then put pressure on a YSS. Well, it's banned out. TNC's the one that banned it out, so RORA's like, well, it's open, so we might as well get the YSS. So now the question will be, how does TNC build this lineup to do what just happened to them in game one? And go that route, you know? So that's why I think we might potentially see their mid lane and
I feel like the Lapu, yeah.
Okay.
Lapu, Hylos here. Also, it's a bit too early to show your XP in the roam. That's kind of tricky, especially that Aurora could easily counter it out onto the blue second and third blue here. But going back, without the natural predator for Yeast and Shin, they have to find another answer. The likes of the Kimi, by the way, is open, and it was banned out early for game number 1, and Aurora could use that to their advantage.
They go for the Kimi mid, and then they have the Yi Sun Shin in the center of the map. They're going to need to pair it up with a roamer.
Yeah, and then there's going to be the Ruby Gold. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's just stick with the full house mage, Firepower, Kagura, Farsa, or...
Yeah, they don't need to go Ruby Gold. They still just need to pair it up with some really solid pieces. So I like that they already picked up the Esmeralda early. I think later on, TNC are going to have to take away heroes such as the Gata Kacha as a possibility for Light. They can zero in on the roam and mid trade, considering that's the last two things that Aurora need to draft. They don't need to log in the Benny QT pick now, but if they want to be safe, they just go ahead and pick up the Granger. But nope, they go ahead and pick up the Hayabusa. They can open up the Benny QT picks. And yeah, TNC just continuously ban roam and mids. Even if you want to really pressure the roam, that's fine. Because if you take away strong roamers that can hold down the front line and protect the jungle of Aurora, considering the TNC already have the Hylos and Lapu Lapu, should be great for them.
You're right. Even a Gatot Kacha be a very wonderful ban here for TNC. What are other options? We have the Akai, already shown here on MPL.
Yeah.
And
Nakai Roam is a possibility. Looking at the hero pool of Light, you still have the Grok to take into consideration. The chip might be a bit too risky to play for the side of Aurora.
Okay.
So yeah, they're zeroing in on the Yue Kimi pick. Totally respect that, totally understandable. So now you choose whether you're going to ban the Gata Kacha or the Grok.
I think in their case, maybe the Grok would be better. I mean, Gata Kacha's used so much too. Fits in a lot of lineups, but Carry's being banned out here for Aurora. Wonder what gold lane option for Benny Cutie will be. The Moskov is still available, unless you just have the classic matchup of Granger versus Harith.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more okay with Granger, considering that there's so many dive-heavy heroes on the side of TNC. A little bit more distance and range might be good for them. Could be a Farsa and a... I'm blanking, excuse me.
It's okay.
Farsa and... What do we say? Granger, there we go.
Granger.
Farsa and Granger. Or even a Farsa Bruno would be okay for the side of TNC.
You're right. There's a respect. And for Aurora, you mentioned that if ever they could go the route here for that instant burst, and the Farsa is still quite available here for Yue. But what do you partner up with that strong mid? Without the Grok now.
Well, the Gatot is still an option, and that might just be the go-to pick here for Light and Aurora. You get revitalized with it as well, and it should round out the draft for Aurora.
TNC, on the other hand, still missing the piece here for Lancy, and Benny QT mentioned still multiple options if he wants to go the Bruno or Granger route is actually the safest option.
I think Aurora might ban out the Bruno. They banned out the Moskov.
Okay.
Let's go Bruno Farsa for TNC. Even a Bruno and a Novaria later on would be good.
There's the Farsa.
So they get the Farsa.
Farsa makes sense.
How about the Selena Yue?
Yeah, what if actually Yue picks
What
up
if?
Selena? I just don't see him doing that. Like Kagura.
But it's going to be somewhat of a hard game considering there's a Hayabusa and then the Hylos.
No, Yue can bring back an old favorite and a Veil. Novaria might be tough. They could make it work somehow, but I'm leaning towards either a Valentine or a Veil.
They could still stick to US identity onto just getting the Valentina here and partner it up with the Gototkacha masterpiece here for Aurora if ever. But yeah, the Selena. I'm glad we said that
He's
Selena.
taking the Selena.
Interesting. Okay. And Badang, is that your evil laugh now?
That's her. She's got the evil laugh now. She's been here for a day.
Oh no.
It's all because of Demon Guy.
Okay. Understandable.
Sorry, I'm victim blaming.
No, it's fine.
Don't gaslight Demon Kite.
I'm sorry, but I was actually just kidding around with the Selena, but
It's
hey, it's you.
Honestly, surprising for me.
I'm surprised he picked it too.
Yeah, the Hylos can just poke him down.
I don't know.
But then they can just double down on dive so that Demon Kite has a lot of space.
Maybe I just
Blood?
I'm
This
looking
is
at
old
it at a
Benny.
different way, but also TNC
Yeah.
with the Claude. Maybe they just want that extra bit of survivability movement for the Claude, but
Yeah.
is it really the go-to?
To be fair, TNC has a lot of map pressure with the Hayabusa, Farsa, and Claude all together. While the Aurora lineup want to play close and want to play together, they might leverage the fact that they'll just continuously leave Benny Cutie to keep pushing the long lane, the side lanes, and they might be able to slowly win through that.
Interesting take on their Game 2 draft, and as well as increasing the chances here for TNC Pro Team to somehow manipulate and control the map as early as possible.
Okay. Looking at this too, one last look. We'll see if TNC can take it to a game 3. It'd be poetic if we can get another game 3 here to end out week 3. Let's find out.
Well, let's head on to our game number 2. It's going to be RORA versus TNC, and RORA is only looking at one more game win to finally close off our day.
Mobile Legends.
For TNC Pro Team, is this a start as they try and make their way here onto mid lane?
I have to acknowledge again that this is a Dominkai comfort pick. Very strong lane bully when he plays a Harith.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how Benny Cutie will be able to manage the lane. He's not going to win the lane. He needs to straight up manage it. So it's a good thing that he got the Master Assassin for himself to increase his chances of being able to trade somewhat up against the Harith. Well, we'll see a quick rotate towards topside by Lancey as the Farsa to ensure that 3-Mar gets a bit of a lead, but they're not going to be able to win that Crab EXP.
You're right. And I would also like to thank you for highlighting Benny Cutie as well. We've discussed the Granger versus Harith, right, on the lane. But with a Claude, it's kind of tricky. And a tricky thing here for TNC Pro Team, they're prone for denies and as well as jungle attacks here from Aurora because of the Selena pick as well.
And at the same time, you see a lot of this. They just have to go ahead and protect this early rotation for Zyda to give them a better fighting chance at the first objective. I think this is not a lineup that you're really going to be able to do much for TNC in terms of getting a first blood, unless, you know, Benny Cutie and Dominkite change that course, because even up in the XP lane, you're not going to see that much of that. So this is one of those situations where it's just got to come down to that first turtle take. And like Renmar mentioned, look at this. Look at the pressure up on the gold lane. Actually, it looks like he's going to jump in. That's the first blood from Demon Kite.
Okay, that's an off-come kill.
He got the information, though.
Moving forward, that's actually a great startup here for Aurora.
Yeah, and that was actually an expected rotation. I'm surprised that TNC Pro Team left their Benny Cutie in lane like that, because that always happens. Dominkite pressures while Demon Kite cuts behind the tower and then takes down the opposing gold laner.
And they got so much from that first blood.
Wow.
Cool energy shield plus a turret takedown versus just a turtle here for TNC Pro Team.
A 2-minute tier 1. A whole lot of gold for Aurora. They don't care about that first turtle that went to TNC.
Yeah, they lose that rotation, and they might have already just lost the game. Again, never say never, but at this point, considering that the Claude needs a tower and needs time to farm, Dominkite got so much gold through that, Demon Kite as well. They were able to effectively double the snowball speed of this YSS and this Harith because of the rotation that they did towards bot side. And again, this is a scouting report that should have been presented to TNC. We've seen, go back to the previous games where we see YSS and Harith together. For RORA, they always have that rotation around the first turtle.
This is not just a snowball, it's an avalanche here.
Yeah.
For Aurora, right? And for TNC Pro Team, now they have to stretch out what's left just so they could ensure a network here for Benny Cutie. But more so, could we be looking at another game with 0 deaths here for Aurora because they're playing it smoothly right now?
It's actually impressive that Benny Cutie's still playing that confidently, where he's actually going and blazing, duetting into Dome and Kite, you know, without that tier 1 even. So
he has to.
He has to. They're going to chase down Light. Light will flicker defensively so he doesn't get caught. Not sure if they're going to be able to do much more, but it's TNC just trying to fight around this side of the map to get what they can.
They have to make do with what they have. And that's an arrow hitting.
An arrow, fist break, fist crack. Zyda should be able to get out. Light's going to get punished himself, though. So it was a good attempt, a good setup. But now Demon Kite trying to get Chaknu. Won't have enough damage. Does get the Revitalize out from Chaknu. So at least TNC gets on the board here.
Okay, so TNC Pro Team able to punish a RORA mistake, and that sort of diminishes the lead that they were able to build for themselves. However, still going to be tough here for Benny Cutie to make a comeback. Good so by 3-Mar!
3-Mar jumping in after UA flickers. He'll be able to get out, though. Luckily, Edward was there. So now, again, nice 2 flickers expended from RORA. Turtle's up. Light's given the information, but I don't think Demon Kite wants anything to do with this.
Yep.
They're just going to trade it.
Might be a free turtle for TNC Pro Team. And as you mentioned, because of that specific pickoff onto Light, it somehow boosts the morale and as well as the vision here and movement for TNC Pro Team. And that's a kind of head start that you would want for a team that suddenly has to stretch out what's left for their jungle. And a great start still for Zyda with his Hayabusa.
Yeah, no speculation here. Definitely TNC Pro Team found a morale boost through that punish because it came off of the fact that Yue hit a really good arrow. That was a good response by Light to try and take down Zyda. But then Zyda was able to remaneuver and even be the one to secure the kill there onto Light. That is morale boosting for a lot of the teams here. Many tough boots. All tough boots built here by TNC Pro Team, and I like that respect on the crowd control lockdown that RORA has in their composition.
Yeah, you're going to need those anyway. So it's up to RORA just to kind of maintain what they can, farm where they can. You see they put Dome and Kite up here, and I think that's still going to be a problem for TNC if they don't actually have a way to control Dome and Kite as he just goes and gets to farm up. Because, again, I think Dome and Kite is probably the best Harith statistically right now. Currently in Season 16.
It is his comfort hero. And giving it onto Dome and Kite says a huge lot here for Aurora. Meanwhile, for TNC Pro Team, yes, you managed to get the turret here onto the bottom side for Benny Cutie. You've able to somehow limit the huge gap that Aurora was trying to innate here for our game number 2. But what is not happening is that they're not finding a way to actually punish core damage leadership for Aurora. And the longer the game gets, it's just getting to be more trickier by the minute or so.
Yeah, so I think this is why we're seeing TNC not playing defensively, and they're sending 3-Mar out even more to try and chase down at least someone. A build advantage for TNC because they know that it's a ticking time bomb. This Harith already up to 2 core items.
Benny Cutie, off the regen. We'll be able to get out. The fight for this 3rd turtle, though, without Benny Cutie, they've got an advantage here for RORA. Dome and Kite joining the fight, dropping down the glorious pathway. There's a jump in with the bravest fighter. They're going to force the fighting away from Light. Light flickers on forward, but there's Zyda to go up and clean the kill for Light. And now still breaking it out. Turtle already secured by RORA. They're looking for more in this one. 3-Mar can't get away from that. Shadow kill already going to be used from Zyda. And now Benny Cutie a little bit too late on the blazing duet. Won't hit anybody.
Massive loss there for TNC Pro Team, and Aurora can just continue this snowball. Great jump with the Falling Star Moon by Edward to catch 4 members of TNC. And now Aurora can just ride on this momentum, although TNC has showed us that, bro, they're willing to fight. They're willing to find a way to turn things around. It's just because of everything that happened to Benny Cutie so far in this game, it's just so tough to do so without their main damage dealer in their gold laner. They're playing around the Lapu Lapu Farsa and the Hayabusa right now.
Aurora saw the opportunity and they grabbed it, right? after Benny Cutie was forced to recall his way onto the base, there was a sudden attack here for Aurora. And we do need to highlight Edward's jump from there, hitting 4 members with a falling star moon. And then you also have Light as well, putting his life on the line just so they could ensure that there will be no more follow-ups here for TNC Pro Team. But now, we're closing in onto the first lord of the game. But still, it's still siding with Aurora, still established lead here of 3.5k gold lead.
Yeah, it's interesting because Light's literally his job. You can see even he's got the Thunderbelt. Like, so he's kind of just throwing himself out there because he's going to go and try to just get the fist break, fist crack combo off, do as much damage as he can. He's going to get stunned here. Where's he going to go from here? Feathered airstrike, drop down. Yue's dealing with a shadow kill. Demon Kite is there. Luckily, Yue's gone. Now Edward jumping in with a falling star moon. He's going to chase Lancey down. There's another match going on with 3 more. He finally goes. Edward can't tank all of this, though. He's still waiting for the team to catch up, but Edward falls. 3 down for RORA TNC. Can they find more? Mount Chakra going to be used, and Demon Kite will be able to get away. Again, Benny Cutie jumps in with a blazing duet. He gets out in time.
Great moves by everyone showed up, and again, Zyda and TNC willing to fight.
Oh,
it was him being able to shadow kill.
He knows.
Behind enemy lines, and he knows.
Kite knows. It was all part of the plan. They'll take out Zyda, and now the Lord is open for RORA.
What you got there?
What a read! And another arrow hits!
And now
Another
there's
arrow.
Light onto the backside.
Light just droning them out. Domikite jumping in the fight under the Zaman Force. They're just going to hold them there as the Lord is already secured by RORA. And Demon Kite does it again. Finds him under the turret. Edward will jump in with a falling star moon, and Lancey has to flicker out. So RORA will get the objective. But what do they get off of this push here?
So wild of a pickup and trades here, but still for Aurora, they've managed to get their hands onto this Lord. A perfect pickup onto Zyda. But meanwhile, let's take a look back onto our Infinix instant replay.
Yeah, look at that jump. Zyda with a shadow kill in the back. Edward separating the fight. Demon Kite decided to actually back off and help Demon Kite with the Lapu Lapu. And that meant Edward just needed to buy time and see. After that sequence, that's when Demon Kite decided to make his way towards the shrub close to the orange buff, picking off Zyda. And Zyda did not expect that the Harith would be there that deep.
They know who to punish, and they know that for Aurora, they just need to somehow wait it out. But for Zyda, he's making his way onto the back liners here for Aurora, which is a very perfect target, but he needs to be wary in close spaces like that. And they have to prevent that from happening again, because Aurora is slowly breathing down on their necks. Last bits of their turret onto tier 2 is now destroyed. Lord onto the top lane, marching, and TNC Pro Team now cornered here onto their base.
Holy shields are down. They hold on to what they can. They deal with the Lord. TNC still on the fence. RORA might decide to go for them. The arrow's going to land on Zyda. He has to go ahead and shadow on out. Still putting the pressure here. These arrows are a nuisance for TNC. Chaknu playing up front, doing what he can, takes a ton of damage. Could be in trouble here as Domikite jumps through the wall. He'll be able to find Chaknu. So another down, but TNC holding on to the base turrets, and the last shield up top goes out.
That's wild, even under the turret at your own base.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Again, this is why we gave so much focus onto Demon Kite in the draft of this series. If he ends up with Harith,
Light! He's just gonna go for it anyway, I guess, trying to catch them off guard, and he does just that. Base turret falls on the bottom side. Light, like I said, he's gonna throw his body for these ones.
You're right.
Dylan, don't scare us like that.
He's not even counting 1 to 3. It's just one jump.
Yeah.
He's just jumping the guns here onto TNC Pro Team. Meanwhile, for Aurora, highlighting Harith for Demon Kite. In the Filipino broadcast, we call him Paldomeng, right?
Yeah.
This is the moment that he shines the most, especially onto this huge gold gap lead onto Benny Cutie.
Yeah, Paldo, meaning you're rich, you're loaded, you've got a lot of resources, and that's exactly what Demon Kite has. Full build already, up to a Divine Glaive. No wonder why he was able to melt down Chaknu so quickly under the turret. And look at where Benny Cutie is at. He's still on the way to building his 4th item. He has his Trinity, yes, but he's not going to be the main damage dealer for a long time. At this point, yeah, you're playing around the Haya, Lapu, Farsa, still. And because of that, you cannot play this close. Look at where Light is holding holding the position right now. Vision provided. Light with the gank.
Oh, it's going to go Light from the backside. Gets the flicker out from Lancey. Disengaging. Zyda checks things out, but Demon Kite already going to be able to get the Lord. Demon Kite is on the run. Does TNC really want to fight this? They're going to drop down the Glorious Pathway. Chaknu leaving up the front. Zyda will be able to go in with a Shadow Kill. He does find Demon Kite. Now still breaking out Edward. Taking it up, 4 members, 3 more. Could be in trouble. Light. There's the blazing duet from Benny Cutie. Finally able to connect, and TNC will fight back. Able to find 2 from RORA.
And they finally get it. Shutting down Dominic and as well as disrupting Light's process as well.
Bro, TNC has massive cajones. They decided to fight into that. Any other team would have backed off, but they pushed the envelope, and Zyda said, sure, let me make sure that I can pick off Dominic in the back, and he still found the angle to toss the Shadow and commit the kill onto Doming. Light got finished off as well, and this makes the defense for TNC so much easier.
What's Chaknu gonna do? He's just trying to cut them off from just committing to this push. Lord's gonna be dealt with really quickly, and TNC, because of that whole team fight, they didn't lose anything in this base.
And TNC Pro Team is actually winning on the pickups. That's 6-8 on the kill score. And most importantly, now Benny QT is slowly catching up onto what could be the core damage leader now for TNC Pro Team.
Feather Airstrike dropped down and Abyssal Arrow thrown out, but TNC, they've got great wave clear. As long as Lancey's able to stay up, the rest of the team. So ultimately, they find themselves still okay. TNC might be down 3,000 gold. They still have plenty of room to cover, but all this is a waiting game. They had to get Benny Cutie caught up because of the early pressure that he faced, and he's finally getting there.
Okay, TNC, they are still definitely in this, and Aurora need to be careful. The energy that TNC brings to the table, you said it so many times over the years, the poison of Chaknu. But in the coaching staff, E2Max is there. And now let's see if they'll be able to inject some of that energy here, that never say die attitude that Chaknu has played with for so long, E2Max has played with for so long. Now with this quad, items already locked in. Farsa, 3, even has a Magic Lantern, Divine Glaive. And now with the high loss front line, Radiant Armor on the way to the Dominance Eyes as well, alongside the Queen's Wings for 3-Mar. No wonder why they can be willing to fight.
Chaknu leading the charge.
Okay, that was a very scary moment here for Aurora, but we do need to highlight the TNC, as long as they're able to stretch out the game, as you've mentioned, they're slowly catching up in terms of defensive items. And Chaknu is just waiting for his Dominance Ice next. And for Aurora, meanwhile, they actually need to finish this off immediately, as fast as possible. Because for TNC Pro Team, if they're able to stretch it out yet again for this Lord, they may just take and stretch this game onto a game number 3.
Yeah, Light with a good flank angle again. By the way, Demon Cat already got to build up a Sea Halberd as his last item. Zyda able to get his purple boss. Zyda has solidified himself as a stone cold killer. But he's also fantastic at the Retro Battle. Let's see if he can make magic.
Okay, 3 more. Taking the lead onto the intel, and a very nice vision there. They're too traumatized if ever there's a Demon Kite or even a Yue. Doming Kite as well here needs to be well protected, as Zyda just hits along the shadows here for TNC Pro Team.
Yeah, they don't have to overcommit to this either. They're going to let RORA pull this through. Lancey dealing with the waves. That's the biggest thing for TNC is managing the waves here.
Interesting.
Keep an eye where Light is, that positioning. They might try to pull something off of this. Edward giving some information right now where Chaknu and 3-Mar are. There's the conceal. What are Light Demon Kite gonna go? There's the big fist crack. Benny Cutie's gone. A great setup from RORA, and it's just falling apart for TNC. What a play from Light to make it. And that looks like that's going to be all they had to do. Zyda tries to defend. A wave pushing in from the bottom, and there's nothing he can do but watch the base locked in as RORA will sweep TNC.
Emphatic Light proving that if he can do it with the Demon, he can do it with Doming. And you gotta appreciate that hug. Light and Doming Kite. It was their idea, their call, and it was their winning play.
What a play here for Aurora, securing the series with a 2-0 sweep against TNC Pro Team. props to the whole team for calling the shots, as well as I already had a bad feeling like, what are you doing, Doming and Light?
Yeah.
And then there's the conceal. I thought they were going to back away because after that, Zaida already knew that there's someone here, there's someone chasing me. But then that's it. It's going to be written down on the most powerful plays here for Aurora. Let's give it up here for TNC Pro Team. What a play. That was an almost extended series for this last match.
It's wild to say that was Light and Kite, but it wasn't the Kite you expected.
Yeah, and definitely now we're heading over to our winners interview here for Aurora Gaming together with our host onto our main stage.
As the victory shined on your winners once again, please give it up for Aurora Gaming! Cannot believe what I saw. First things first, unahin ko na muna, Odin, Light. This was your 7th hero, yung Franco, nilabas mo na naman. We were talking to you nung isang araw, gaano pa ba karami yung ilalabas mo? Talk to us more about the versatility of the lineup na meron ka. Kasi it's not easy playing multiple heroes in terms of a single season. Pero what did you develop during the off-season na kinaya mo na talagang laruin to kahit na minsan yung mga heroes hindi mo napapractice? Or napapractice mo ba yung mga heroes kahit na madami yung pool mo?
Tinapakan ko lang yung love goals, sinadjust ko kasi goods talaga sa pick eh. Pero depende pa rin talaga. Sabi ko kay coach para madagdagan unique hero pick ko.
Yung pala talaga yung plano, Odin.
At ang ganda ng ginawa ni Light doon doon sa bago mag-winning moment, talagang nakuha nila yung targeted heroes para successfully ay matapos nila ang laro. And ngayon, gusto ko naman kausapin ang kanilang XP laner na si Edward, na sobrang daming fans. Edward, grabe yung mga fans. Parang ayoko putulin yung pagsigaw nila sa'yo. Pero Edward, sa tagal mo na sa liga, alam namin at marami ding nagsasabi na ikaw daw talaga ang best XP laner. Kumbaga, XP lane standard. And meron din sinabi si Sanford nung tinanong namin na ikaw daw talaga yung standard sa XP lane. Ano yung masasabi mo doon sa sinasabi ng mga tao?
Hindi. Si Sanford pa rin. Yung best XP. Pangalawa lang ako.
Alright.
Pangatlo, ganun.
Pangatlo. Sino pangalawa?
Si Agent Zero.
Si Agent Zero.
Uy!
Yung pangatlo si Legend Zero.
Ayun!
So meron sinaslot niya pa rin yung sarili. Andun pa rin naman
Andun pa rin. Parehong siya yun sa
Pero
top 3.
alam mo, Edward, gusto ko malaman. Kasi every time na nakikita namin to, madalas may nabanggit sa akin, na kada nilalaro mo yung lapu-lapu, halos sure ball, sure win ang nakikita natin mula sa Aurora. I wanna know, what's it about lapu-lapu in this current meta na nagagamit mo to the fullest of your potential?
Siguro, malakas siya sa 1v1 tsaka sa turtle fight. So, ayun, enjoy gamitin and ayun nga, nasa meta siya. So, pasok na pasok.
We're talking about 1v1s. Kung sakaling makakaharap mo ulit si Sanford, I wanna know, kung sa tingin mong number 1 siya, paano mo siya mahihigitan?
Anong lamang mo kay Sanford?
Wala. Hindi ko malalamangan yun.
Well, we're still about to find that out. Si Coach Dexter sa'yo, eh.
Parang hindi, Anong lamang ni Edward sa tingin mo?
Sila.
Ay, sila. Yung mga fans daw.
Totoo bang kayo ang lamang ni Edward? I have to say that at some point meron.
Oo, sobrang taas ng pitch eh. Ngayon gusto ko makausap naman si Coach MTB. Now let's talk about the power rankings. Kasi tinanong din namin si Coach Why Not about it, and sinabi nila na Aurora Gaming ang top 1 para sa kanila sa power rankings. What do you think of that? Tingin nyo ba kayo rin ang nangunguna talaga?
I think sa standing, yes, pero overall I think may ilalakas pa talaga yung team. Hindi pa to yung prime condition ng team. Meron pa kaming may mga kailangan pa rin kaming linisin, may kailangan pa kaming i-improve. So, tingin ko masabi ko lang na magna-number 1 kami kung mag-champion kami ngayong season.
And I like the idea coming in from them. Coach MTB, I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Coach Why Not. Kung hindi kayo, aside from the standings, because statistically you're at the top spot, para sa'yo, sino ba ang top 1 threat ng Aurora towards getting that crown and why?
I think yung dalawang ano pa rin, defending champs, yung ONIC tsaka yung TLPH. Sila pa rin talaga yung matagal nang magkakasama and sobrang buo na yung chemistry. So pagdating ng playoffs, makikita pa rin natin na kung paano talaga sila maglaro.
And we still have a long way to go to make that happen. Once again, give it up for your winners, Aurora Gaming! An incredible effort mula sa Northern Lights, just showing what they're made of, getting another win this season.
Palakas ng palakas ang ating mga teams together with their fans, and we can hear it hanggang ngayon, Hans. That was a clean execution for Aurora Gaming, and we want to hear it from the casters.
Finishing off week number 3 with a smile here for Aurora, sweeping off TNC Pro Team on a 2-0 for our last match.
Incredible match. A little heart hurting. What was I going to say? A little
heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Sorry, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday
but
evening.
heart-stopping moments here for Light are Game 2 MVP with his Badang.
Yeah, man, it was his play. Light legit, bro.
Dude, it was his series.
Yeah, it was his series. It was the Franco and then now this call. Usually this confirms that it was probably Light's call to commit that concealed play alongside Dome. He probably went, Meng. And then Edwards was like,
Meng.
Backup ko kayo.
I could only imagine the last shot call there. And thankfully later we could get to hear it onto our Infinix mic check. But looking closer onto our MVP highlights, wherein there was this kind of just showing off his body here, and you do just get the rest done here for Demon and as well as UN Dominkai.
Yeah. So for the side of Aurora, this is one of the biggest struggles when you're going up against a hero like Badang, when you're a team that want to dive in, especially having a gold laner that wants to dive in and get close. There's a risk that the tempo of your team fight is gonna get broken. Although, I will say TNC managed to play around this Badang relatively well, up until that final point where it was just a surprise play. It just goes to show why Badang is such a great pickup in this current metagame. Is he your go-to #1 roamer? No. Is he a great option against lineups that want to get close and dive in?
Yes. I see where you're going.
Unanimous decision, right?
Next time, I'm going to say something different to throw both of you off.
You can't.
Please don't.
I am in sync with you, Mr. Renmar.
I'll just go and delay my answer. Like,
and Athena's getting there, by the way.
Huh?
Athena's getting there.
Yeah, she's getting there. Real quick.
What a day one here, Athena, for your English debut.
Yeah, and what a game here for Aurora. Interesting choice here, and I do like to highlight that you could go and get a hero that could complement it best versus onto what we've seen for TNT Pro Team for game number. I'm sorry, I just had to. Like with the Selena and Gatatkasha, even though there's already a backshot. And there's a beauty in here by getting at the Yisun Shin. You don't have the innate Predator, right? With the backshot ban out. So he was able to really dodge out all of these bullets, or rather, bullets and plus the Federer Shak here for TNC Pro Team Lancy. But so far, what really matters the most is the last decision making here for Light and as well as Dominkai on the winning clash.
Yeah. Gotta feel bad also for Benny Cutie. He was just shafted after one major rotation early on in the game. 2 minutes in. Again, I'll go back to the previous games of RORA, and I think it's not just RORA. There are other teams who commit that rotation as well. When it is a fast-scaling gold laner paired up with the Yisun Shin of the jungle, first turtle is given up by the Yisun Shin, who will go behind the first turret in the gold lane to get a gank. If they're not gonna secure the kill, they're at least gonna build advantage for their gold laner already. From there, Benny Cutie's efforts, he had to climb Everest to be felt here. But the good thing was Zyda, 3mar, and Lancy really covered well for TNC Pro Team. Zyda, especially on this Hayabusa, really showing off why it's a comfort pick. But in the end, Aurora were able to surprise TNC with their own poison play.
Yeah, I just feel like in this case, maybe it's a nice thing for Light because he's so used to having one kite brother. Now he's got two.
Yeah,
and he can make plays with like both of them if he wants to.
Yeah, and earlier we were asked on what's different, right, for Aurora, and even Renmar highlighted this guy, our BPR rich guy, Dominkai, and as well as his kite brother, the carry for this round.
Yeah, again. Spoiler alert, I said he is setting a new standard for himself. It's as simple as that. This Harith on Dominkai for Aurora needs to be respected every time. And if you're gonna give the Harith to Domingite, you have to make sure that not only you have drafts ready for it, but rotations ready for it.
Yeah, there's something about Domingite and this Harith, man. Maybe it was because of the whole, that was the gold lane meta. Like last season, Harith Granger.
Yeah, exactly.
And so far, really shined his best here for our last game, especially partnering it up with Light as well. Like passing on the throne from Demon Kite. Hey, you got my brother, right?
Yeah.
And he is there to lead the way onto getting crucial pickups onto TNC Pro Team, not letting them extend or stretch off the series onto a game number 3. That was a very dominating match here for Aurora. But let's check on our Infinix mic check on what happened for game number 2.
Tingnan Naya.
Pakilan siya, pre.
Okay, Lapo, boy.
Target.
Lapo, pre.
Boy ako. Nag-shadow sa akin.
Lapo, wala ko.
Lapo, tinamaan. Nice. Yung Claude, pabalik yung Claude. Easy sa Claude, ha, pre. Pabalik.
Kalma.
Ayun na, Claude.
Pass. Boom, fantastic. Nice try.
Nasabi ko itong haya. Saan ako ba't ulit?
Saan na natin inyong haya? Sorry pa.
Shadow haya.
Ay, patay!
Nice! Bawasan mo lang kayo. Tingin mo yung. Ito yung lapo, pre, ha?
Ano missing, pre? Ay!
Nice!
Lapo nga, boy. Lapo.
Basta, pre. Lapo, pre. Nag-clear na. Swal ko. Sunto ko.
Tower lang ako.
Tower.
And that was our Infinix mic check on to game number 2 winning moment for Aurora.
I always wondered how Light had to deal with that. Like, because he probably originally started, like, when he came back in the lineup, he's probably like, kite.
Yeah.
Because he's so used to saying it.
Maybe that's why they were struggling in their first series this season. He would just say kite. And Doming and Demon Kite would just be like,
they're both like, what? Which one? Which
one of us?
So now what do you say?
The kite one.
Meng, and...
Kite.
And probably...
Mon.
Oh, yeah, Mon. He was saying Mon.
No, Meng.
Demon Kite.
So Mon and Meng.
You know what? We're gonna ask Light.
Let's ask Light.
Let's ask Light.
Later.
Yeah, what the shot call is for him when he's referring to both Doming and Demon Kite.
I'll ask him in Tagalog.
Yeah, but what's clear is they managed to somehow get their way against TNC Pro Team. No surprises at all. But definitely they're the one delivering the surprise for our Game 2 dominating match for Aurora. But to break down further onto what happened for Game 2, here's our summarization with Sir Wolf.
Thank you so much, casters. Mukhang tuloy-tuloy ang momentum ng Aurora after that stomp versus TNC. At kung babalikan natin ang mga keys to victory na inilatag para sa Aurora, talagang sinunod nga naman nila by starting with forcing Chaknu to play sustain or utility. So nakita natin, Gatot Kacha sabay Hylos, talagang out of his element etong si Chaknu, or kung hindi man yung buong team ng TNC, parang hindi nakakakilos kapag hindi nakakuha ng catch heroes etong si Chaknu. Para naman sa Aurora, parang ramdam natin yung mga initiations, especially with that badang play. And also, may kita natin na dinisrupt nga nila yung mga pre-turtle or pre-lord setup ng TNC. Balikan natin yung game number 1. Di ba? Parang hindi nagkaroon ng legitimate na turtle fight or neutral objective team fight ang side ng TNC dahil mas binilisan naman ng Aurora yung kanilang pwestuhan. At dun sa game number 2, ang ginawa ni Demon Kite ay nag-rotate siya doon sa gold lane nung nagpi-pre-turtle dito ang side ng TNC. So instead na pumalag siya dun sa turtle, naghanap siya ng mas magandang trade on the other side of the map. In the gold lane, both sa nakakuha sila ng kill kay Benny QT, nakakuha pa sila ng Torre. Additionally, yung last play. Nakita naman natin at 18 minutes in, may palag na yung TNC sa Lord at nagsiset-up na actually yung TNC sa pagkuha ng Lord fight na yun. They're going for the short lane, pati na rin yung long lane. Pero yun nga, pinagbalakan sila ng bagong kite connection natin with Light and Doming Kite at this time at talagang naging effective. TNC could not prepare for the Lord at hindi na sila nakapalag even when they can have a chance in the late game. Yan ang nakita nating bakbakan. Kaya naman siguro yung RORA ay talagang maganda ang simula ngayong week number 3 ay dahil doon sa momentum na nila-ride nila at talagang nararamdaman na nila ang kanilang confidence. That has been the second series of the day, RORA na winning streak. At pasa na natin ito, pabalik sa ating mga casters.
Thank you so much, Sir Wolf, for that wonderful insight onto what happened for our last match.
Miss Athena. Sir Renmar.
Very formal.
I don't like it.
You don't like Sir Renmar?
I don't like Sir Renmar.
Sir Nice.
That's what we get called all the time, though.
Huh?
Like everybody
I
calls us
know.
Sir. Like,
I don't,
what do you want to be called?
my lord.
My lord. Okay,
My lord.
let's discuss our Infinix standings on wherein, as we've mentioned, in a good scenario, Aurora will be marking their spot onto the first versus Twist, even though it's currently
witty.
on a tie.
Yeah.
It's still onto the base, onto game win and loss.
My lord, my king. Mark King.
Hey, yo. Aurora ended the weekly streak of Twisted Minds, ending at top 1 in the standings.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so Aurora solidifying themselves as number 1 after week 3.
Yep.
A very top heavy right now in 1 to 4. I think this is already a good snapshot heading into our 4th week. You clearly have a top 4. And then a bottom 4 where you can toss a coin up in the air. Although TNC, I feel like, is really the big... Actually, no, TNC and Omega are also big threats to Processions 2 to 4.
Yep.
And so far for Infinix Fancy Club and standing, it's going to be still the Minds heading on their first spot, followed closely by the Phoenix Army. We have the
6-0.
Cavalry, and for Green Falcons, things are looking good. They're on the top 4 for Infinix standings.
Yeah.
Infinix Fancy Club.
Who are these minds, man?
They were actually interviewed yesterday. So in the interview, it was 2 dudes who already knew each other and were like playing together for a long time in MLBB. And that guy said, hey, let's play with these dudes. Like they just met up through the community page. And then suddenly they're playing really good. Like I asked other people about it in the community.
Yeah.
Everyone, all of them just had a same reaction. It's like, last talaga ng Twisted Mind, yung minds.
They
like,
also...
in English, which means they're really just that strong. And they all had that body language of they're just really good, man.
Oh, and they also play a lot of RG with Odin. I remember that interview. So these people behind the Minds actually grinds their way. They don't want the Cavalry to be a triple champion for Infinix Fancy Laban.
Yeah, those are Odin's Valkyries.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
No, Odin Fam is official.
Oh,
I should tell that to Odin.
That's actually...
Right, they call her
That's a
community the
great-
Valkyries.
Yeah.
She's actually thinking of another way to name her supporters, right?
There you go.
And so far, to all our super fans and community audiences that went here as well, we would like to thank you. And that was it. Again, this is Athena, Naisu, and Renmar. Let's hand over on our main stage with our hosts.
See you next.
We've experienced a lot of things for week 3, both exciting and unusual results.
Alam mo Hans, lagi din nating sinasabi na iba na talaga ang mga laruan ng ating mga koponan ngayon, and looking back at what happened today, match 1 really left me speechless and proud at the same time dahil patunay lamang ito na pinapakita ng MPL na nag-e-evolve ang laruan ng ating mga players.
Well, since we're talking about evolution already, I'd also like to bring up the second and the last match of the day where Aurora's light burned brighter than TNC's flame dahil nakuha nila ang sweep to finish off the series and the week with a 2-0 score.
Well, that's all for week 3, and next week will put us closer to the halfway mark. Sobrang bilis na mga pangyayari na parang kakastart lang natin ang season, but next week, we're going to week 4.
Sa dami ng nakita nating laban, nangangalahati na halos ang ating season, and there are gonna be a lot of twists, turns, possible plays, and strategies na ating makikita sa susunod na linggo. Muli, ako si Hans Galeria.
And this is your very own Odin.
Magkita-kita tayo ulit sa susunod na linggo ng MPL Philippines Season 16.
the golden sun and repping for the 3 stars. Look at us to the top, no ifs, no buts. Winning any game para to sa PINAS. Di mo matitinag aming bosses sa new level. Nasa kalye man o mobile, you know I become a legend. Listen, open fire, we unite, we winners. But with pressure, like diamonds are made of. Switching lane na parang gera, HP racing may reseta. But kakatang buhat ni Hilda, full dome SS parang Laila.
Susundan ko man ang wakas, kasama pataas, tagumpay natin to dahil tayo'y
Malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas kasi kami ang malakas para sa Pinas. Nasa amin ang alas, hindi to atas. Kinikilala sa taas, ganito kami sa Pinas. Yeah. Laging MVP, no surrender, no retreat. Pag nagsama-sama